Chapter 328. Such a suppressive force. After entering the dangerous trench, Yi Qinfeng immediately felt a suppressive force that made it hard for him to breathe. The closer he got to the ancient land of the North Sea, the stronger this feeling got. Woo, 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 woo! When he was close to the bottom of the trench, a creepy ghost cry echoed and entered Yi Qinfeng's ears. Large amounts of light flashed in front of his eyes and turned into a large amount of illusory force that confused his consciousness. God-Eater Brain dispelled the illusion. Feeling the illusory force in the trench seeping into his brain, Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the God-Eater Brain to devour the illusory force and protect his consciousness from being confused. Soon enough, Yi Qinfeng, who was resisting the illusion, arrived at the bottom of the trench and felt the restriction that covered tens of thousands of sea regions. This is indeed the work of a heaven region expert. This restriction is too scary. Yi Qinfeng had seen many powerful array patterns and restrictions, but the restriction that sealed the ancient land of the North Sea was the most powerful one he had ever seen. Just as he was using the map of the ancient land of the North Sea in his mind to find the entrance, the King of Massacre, who had turned into a blood shadow, chased after him. The entrance is over there. After the King of Massacre appeared, Yi Qinfeng also found the place where the restriction was the thinnest. This place was the entrance to the ancient land of the North Sea. 1,500,000 pounds of force break. After finding the entrance, Yi Qinfeng immediately flapped his golden rock wings and flew over. Double massacre light circles appeared behind him and surged into the gigantic Fault Heaven sword as he thrust it at the entrance of the ancient land of the North Sea. Crack! After being attacked by the gigantic Fault Heaven sword with 1,500,000 pounds of force, cracks immediately appeared on the restriction at the entrance of the ancient land of the North Sea. Yi Qinfeng, hand over your life. At this moment, the King of Massacre was already very close to Yi Qinfeng. Large amounts of Tao pattern force condensed into the great monument star fist and blasted it over. Flickering with starlight, it was like a giant stone tablet that covered the sky and pressed down, causing the seawater to explode. 3 sword Tao patterns break. At this critical moment, Yi Qinfeng, who smelled the threat of death, burst out with astonishing potential. 3 sword Tao patterns fused into the gigantic Fault Heaven sword. The surging power was like a surging tide, increasing the attack power of the gigantic Fault Heaven sword to the greatest extent. Kacha! The entrance to the ancient Northern Sea, which was riddled with cracks, finally shattered under Yi Qinfeng's all-out attack. A gap as tall as a person appeared. Yi Qinfeng accelerated and managed to enter the ancient Northern Sea before the great monument star fist arrived. Death Chi, what a dense death chi! After entering the ancient land of the North Sea, Yi Qinfeng discovered that the deathly aura in the air had almost condensed into water, corroding his body, continuously stimulating his dark and bloody side. This caused the killing intent in his body to be released involuntarily. He vaguely felt like he had lost control of his body and consciousness. 8 Shao Azura art. Feeling the evil aura in his heart being stimulated bit by bit, Yi Qinfeng quickly circulated the 8 Shao Azura art, devouring the surrounding deathly aura and forming the third killing halo. King of Massacre, I want to see how you are going to kill me in this ancient Northern Sea. Yi Qinfeng felt that the ancient Northern Sea was far more dangerous than he had imagined. Furthermore, he had a complete map of the ancient Northern Sea, which gave him an obvious advantage. Swish! The golden rock's wings flapped rapidly, and Yi Qinfeng quickly disappeared from the entrance of the ancient Northern Sea. Right after Yi Qinfeng left, the King of Massacre also took the risk to enter the ancient Northern Sea. However, he discovered that Yi Qinfeng had disappeared. Yi Qinfeng, I don't believe that I can't catch you. The King of Massacre looked at the ancient Northern Sea, which was filled with dense, deathly aura. He gritted his teeth and took the risk to enter the ancient Northern Sea, searching for Yi Qinfeng's traces. This wasn't the first time the King of Massacre entered the ancient Northern Sea. He was very experienced. When he entered the ancient Northern Sea, he would occasionally leave behind soul stones with imprints to mark his path. This was to prevent himself from getting lost in the ancient Northern Sea. Rumble! Just as the two of them entered the depths of the North Sea ancient land, they suddenly felt the ground beneath their feet start to tremble. A gray storm formed outside the North Sea ancient land. It was like a surging tsunami, creating sky-high waves that swept towards Yi Qinfeng and the King of Massacre, who were in different directions. Not good, it's the death tide. Seeing the gray storm from afar, the King of Massacre's expression changed greatly. It is indeed too dangerous to enter the ancient Northern Sea now. Every 10 years, the ancient Northern Sea would have a 3-month stable period. During that time, it would be relatively safer to enter the ancient Northern Sea. Right now, there were still about 3 years before the stable period. Hence, the ancient Northern Sea was abnormally dangerous. Seeing the death tide getting closer and closer, the King of Massacre didn't hesitate to increase his speed to the peak. He desperately flew in the ancient Northern Sea, looking for a place to hide. Yi Qinfeng felt the same as the King of Massacre. He also felt the terror of the death tide. He burned his golden rock bloodline and quickly fled for his life. My luck is too good. I just came to the ancient Northern Sea, and I already encountered the death tide. The mysterious voice sent Yi Qinfeng a map of the ancient Northern Sea. It had a detailed description of the death tide. As Yi Qinfeng looked at the surging gray storm behind him that was powerful enough to kill a martial emperor, he felt that it was difficult for him to breathe. He had no doubt that if he was swallowed by the death storm, he would not be able to escape death even if he used all his trump cards. What should I do? Where should I hide? Yi Qinfeng's soul spirit quickly scanned the ancient Northern Sea map, looking for a place to hide. Tenjiang Cliff. There is a Tenjiang Cliff in front. I can use it as a place to hide. Combined with the surrounding scenery, Yi Qinfeng quickly found the nearest refuge on the map of the ancient North Sea, Tenjiang Cliff. He quickly flapped his golden rock wings and increased his speed as he flew over. The death tide was getting closer and closer. The pressure on Yi Qinfeng was also increasing. However, he still couldn't find the Tenjiang Cliff indicated on the map. This made him very anxious. Just as the death storm appeared 10 meters behind Yi Qinfeng, threatening his life, a dark gold stone that looked like a wall of light appeared in front of him. I finally found the Tenjiang Cliff. Looking at the Tenjiang Cliff in front of him, Yi Qinfeng let out a long breath. He immediately increased his speed and flew over. Before the death tide swallowed him, he hid under the Tenjiang Cliff. Rumble! The death tide that could topple mountains and overturn seas heavily bombarded the Tenjiang Cliff. The powerful shock waves stirred up several hundred zhang tall waves, causing the Tenjiang Cliff to tremble violently. The Tenjiang Cliff, please don't collapse. Feeling that the Tenjiang Cliff was trembling more and more violently, Yi Qinfeng only felt that his heart was in his throat. He used all his strength to support the Tenjiang Cliff, afraid that it wouldn't be able to withstand the impact of the death tide and would collapse. The violent death tide rampaged for more than 3 days. It gradually dissipated and finally disappeared from the ancient Northern Sea. After being baptized by the death tide, the ground of the ancient Northern Sea was a mess. However, the Tenjiang Cliff that took the brunt of the death tide didn't suffer any damage. This made Yi Qinfeng very surprised. Phew! I wonder if the King of Massacre was swallowed by the death tide. Yi Qinfeng let out a long breath and muttered to himself with lingering fear. Just as he left the Tenjiang Cliff and was about to return to the entrance of the ancient Northern Sea, he realized that the scenery in front of him had changed greatly. It was very different from the map of the ancient Northern Sea. How can this be? Could it be that the ancient Northern Sea can change by itself? Yi Qinfeng frowned and said. He carefully walked in the ancient northern sea for half an incense stick's time. In the end, he couldn't help but confirm that he, who had the map of the ancient northern sea, was lost. For mobile users, please visit Chapter 329, Danger Everywhere. How is this possible? I have the map of the ancient land of the North Sea. How can I get lost? Yi Qinfeng's heart sank as he looked at the scenery that was completely different from the map. He knew what it meant to get lost in the ancient land of the North Sea. If he couldn't find the exit soon, he might die here. Sword puppet, come out. Yi Qinfeng had no choice but to quickly summon the sword spirit puppet, which had an invincible defense. He fused more than 8,000 high-grade soul crystals and 2 million mid-grade soul crystals into the sword spirit puppet's body, increasing its strength to the greatest extent. Woo-woo! Just as Yi Qinfeng and the sword puppet were looking for the exit, a hair-raising, ghostly cry entered Yi Qinfeng's ears. Many blood-red souls without legs were floating in the air. They were holding all kinds of weapons and were floating towards them. Ancient spirits. Yi Qinfeng immediately recognized the blood-red souls that were surrounding him. They were the ancient spirits of the North Sea that were formed from the blood of the golden white tiger. They were extremely powerful. Sword puppet, attack with all your might. Surrounded by more than 10 ancient spirits of the North Sea, Yi Qinfeng immediately handed over the blood-slaughtering Sword King's blood demon sword to the sword spirit puppet and attacked with all his might. Instant kill sword. Yi Qinfeng suddenly leaned forward and fused with the gigantic full heavenly sword in his hand. He turned into an extremely thin sword radiance and stabbed towards one of the ancient spirits of the North Sea that was holding a giant axe. Chi. The body of this ancient spirit of the North Sea was torn apart by Yi Qinfeng's sword. A large amount of death chi was released from its body and poured into Yi Qinfeng's body. If an ordinary person were to suddenly be corroded by such a terrifying death aura, their body would immediately be greatly affected, and they might even become paralyzed. However, to Yi Qinfeng, who cultivated the 8-Sha Azura art, the death aura that entered his body from the ancient North Sea was a great supplement. After killing an ancient spirit of North Sea in one strike, Yi Qinfeng followed up with another strike. The gigantic Fault Heaven sword that was filled with 3 sword Dao patterns and 1,500,000 gene of force was swinging around and killing the ancient spirits of North Sea that were close to him. The sword puppet's attacks were even more direct. It continuously attacked the ancient spirits head-on, crushing them one by one. However, Guling's attack couldn't harm him at all. 8-Sha Azura art Devour. With lightning speed, Yi Qinfeng annihilated 16 North Sea ancient spirits. He circulated the 8-Sha Azura skill at a high speed, absorbing all the death chi emitted from the dead spirits into his body. So fast, the third killing halo is about to take shape. After refining the 16 North Sea ancient spirits and the death aura in the air, Yi Qinfeng finally condensed the embryonic form of the third killing halo. He was only one step away from the phenomenal stage. After condensing all the death aura in his body into the killing halo, Yi Qinfeng didn't waste any time. He quickly left with the sword puppet and continued to look for the exit. That is a dragon blood grass. Yi Qinfeng and the sword spirit puppet didn't walk far when they saw a stone stained with mysterious blood in front of them. On the side of the stone, there was a small grass that was half an inch tall and had only 2 red leaves. Although the red grass looked weak and inconspicuous, Yi Qinfeng recognized it at first glance. It was the priceless dragon's blood grass. I didn't expect to be so lucky to find a dragon blood grass. Yi Qinfeng let out a faint smile and quickened his pace. When he was 3 meters away from the dragon blood grass, his sharp senses immediately sensed danger. A powerful soul energy gushed out from the stone stained with mysterious blood and turned into an old man in a black robe. His eyes were as deep as the stars and his face was cold. It's been more than 300 years. Finally, a living being has come. The old man in the black robe floated in the air and looked at Yi Chen Feng with murderous intent. Kid, give me your soul and body, and I can consider giving you a quick death. Otherwise, I will refine your soul to death. What a powerful death aura. After refining it, I should be able to condense the third killing halo. The old man in the black robe wanted to devour Yi Chen Feng's soul and take over his body. Yi Chen Feng also wanted to refine him and condense the third killing halo to increase his attack power. You want to take my life? Let's see if you have the ability. Yi Chen Feng smirked. 3 sword Dao patterns shot out from his body and attacked the old man in the black robe like 3 bolts of lightning. Sword Dao patterns. You are only a grade 5 mystic beast ancestor, but you have comprehended 3 sword Dao patterns. The old man in the black robe exclaimed in disbelief when he was suddenly attacked by 3 sword Dao patterns. The old man in the black robe was an unparalleled martial monarch when he was alive. He was more talented than his peers, but he didn't comprehend any sword Dao patterns. Swish, swish, swish. The 3 sword Dao patterns cut through the void and penetrated the old man in the black robe's body at an extremely fast speed. The dead spirit body that he had condensed from absorbing the death aura was torn apart. Wait, let's talk things over. In just one move, the old man in the black robe was severely injured. This made him realize how terrifying Yi Chen Feng was. He quickly shouted, "What else do we have to talk about?" Yi Chen Feng said without a trace of emotion, "If you are willing to let me go, I can tell you the way to leave this God-forsaken place." The old man in the black robe said in a pleading tone, "You know the way to leave this place?" Yi Chen Feng frowned slightly and asked in a low voice, "That's right. My soul is living in this bloodstone. I have witnessed the changes in the ancient North Sea for hundreds of years and deduced the way to leave this place. If you are willing to let me go, not only will I tell you the way, but I will also give you this dragon bloodgrass." The old man in the black robe said patiently, "All right, tell me the way to leave the ancient North Sea, and I will spare your life." Yi Chen Feng pondered for a moment and said, he wanted to confirm his guess from the old man in the black robe. "Before I tell you, you have to swear." The old man in the black robe said, "You are not qualified to bargain with me. If you don't believe me, then die." Yi Chen Feng said with cold-killing intent. "All right, I will believe you this time." Feeling the killing intent emitted by Yi Chen Feng, the old man in the black robe knew that Yi Chen Feng was not scaring him. He helplessly said, "This ancient North Sea is actually a huge maze. It changes every day. If you want to leave this place, you have to find the pattern of the maze's changes. According to my observation, the sun formed by the restriction in the sky is the only wind vane. As expected, this ancient North Sea will change on its own." After getting confirmation, Yi Chen Feng's frown deepened. The ancient North Sea was created by the fierce battle between the almighty experts of the heaven domain. After tens of thousands of years of changes, the maze formed was no small matter. Wanting to find the pattern of its changes was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Sigh, this ancient North Sea is really dangerous. Yi Chen Feng softly sighed in his heart. Now he could only rely on the heaven-defying God-eater brain. "Now, I have already told you the only way to leave this place. Pluck the dragon bloodgrass, and you can leave." The old man in the black robe looked at Yi Chen Feng with vigilance and urged him. Yi Chen Feng looked at the old man in the black robe with cold eyes and walked towards the dragon bloodgrass. Just as he grabbed the dragon bloodgrass, a violent blood light gushed out from the seemingly weak dragon bloodgrass. It was like a huge devouring mouth that tried to devour Yi Chen Feng. Yi Chen Feng had already expected that the dragon bloodgrass would have attacking power. When he was suddenly attacked, he did not panic. 3 sword Dao patterns gushed out from his body and tore apart the devouring blood light. "Brat, give me your body obediently." At this moment, the old man in the black robe, who had been waiting for an opportunity, suddenly left the dead spirit body. He compressed his soul spirit into a black light and forcibly broke through the defense of Yi Qinfeng's head and blasted into his mind. "Brat, you are too inexperienced." After successfully breaking into Yi Qinfeng's mind, the old man in the black robe was ecstatic. Just as he was about to devour Yi Qinfeng's soul spirit and take over his body, the God-Eater brain appeared and released a devouring whirlpool that engulfed the old man's soul spirit. What is this? After being devoured by the God-Eater brain, the old man in the black robe was terrified and wanted to escape. However, the God-Eater brain was too terrifying. The devouring whirlpool that it released immediately crushed his soul spirit and devoured him. Bang! The old man in the black robe's soul spirit was devoured by the God-Eater brain. His dead spirit body was shattered and turned into dense death aura. Yi Qinfeng circulated the 8 Sha Jura art and absorbed it into his body. Buzz, buzz, buzz. After devouring the old man in the black robe's dead spirit body, Yi Qinfeng finally condensed the 3rd massacre halo. The 3 massacre halos reflected the white massacre energy and completely restrained the devouring bloodlight released by the dragon blood grass. Withdraw! With a thought, Yi Qinfeng condensed his soul power into a giant hand and forcefully plucked the struggling dragon blood grass. He sealed it in a white jade brocade box and left swiftly. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Collect button at the bottom to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 330. Danger at every step. As expected, no matter how the surrounding scenery changes, the blazing sun in the sky is unaffected. Yi Qinfeng found a relatively safe area and had the sword puppet protect him while he controlled the God-Eater brain to sense the changes in the ancient North Sea. After 3 days of observation, he realized that the scorching sun in the sky was indeed the wind vane of the ancient land of North Sea, unaffected by the maze. After finding a breakthrough, Yi Qinfeng began to observe the changes in the scorching sun's trajectory. Combining it with the topographic map of the ancient North Sea ancient land in his mind, he slowly deduced the location of the ancient North Sea ancient land's exit. Let's take a gamble. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and stored the sword puppet in his universe ring. Following the route he had deduced, he flew towards the ancient North Sea domain, searching for the exit. Rumble. Yi Qinfeng had just flown for more than an hour when he suddenly discovered that the ground was shaking. Thousands of cracks appeared, and a fiery red energy gushed out from the ground, instantly engulfing a small mountain that was more than 100 meters tall. The violent and wanton energy dyed the sky a fiery red, making people shudder. What is that? In the next moment, a head the size of a small boat poked out from the cracked ground. It stared at Yi Qinfeng with its millstone-sized eyes. Level 6 heavenly beast. As he made contact with the 2 blood-red eyes, Yi Qinfeng felt his soul shudder. He had not expected that he would meet a level 6 heavenly beast that was even more terrifying than a level 6 defiant beast king in the ancient North Sea. Roar! As soon as the level 6 heavenly beast discovered Yi Qinfeng, it let out a loud roar like a tsunami, blasting through the air as it charged towards Yi Qinfeng. A 30-meter-long demon beast with the head of a flood dragon and the body of a lizard crawled out of the ground and roared at the sky. Not good. It's Dragon Lizard, a demonic beast that mutated after absorbing the blood of a dragon. Looking at the colossal creature before him, Yi Qinfeng immediately recognized the origin of this Yao beast. Without even thinking about it, he immediately raised his speed to the maximum and quickly fled. Ayo, ayo, the dragon lizard's blood-red eyes found Yi Qinfeng its prey running away. Its four limbs that were like pillars supporting the sky exerted strength. It swung its tail and stomped on the ground to chase after Yi Qinfeng. Bloodline of the Golden Rock, burn! The dragon lizard was too much of a threat. Sensing that it was getting closer and closer, Yi Qinfeng immediately ignited his Golden Rock bloodline to increase his speed. Using the complicated terrain of the ancient North Sea, he managed to escape the dragon lizard's pursuit. Forest. Yi Qinfeng had been fleeing for more than an hour when he suddenly discovered that a vast and terrifying forest had appeared in front of him. It stretched for an unknown number of miles, like a prehistoric beast. Although the forest in the ancient land of the North Sea was very dangerous, the dragon lizard was too close, so Yi Qinfeng had no choice but to escape into the forest. Huff, huff, we are finally safe. After escaping into the deep forest, Yi Qinfeng's sharp senses sensed that the dragon lizard was hesitating and didn't dare to chase after him. He quickly hid in an ancient tree that was so big that it would take more than 10 people to wrap their arms around it. He was panting heavily. This ancient land of the North Sea is too dangerous. Yi Qinfeng wiped the sweat on his forehead and said with lingering fear. He felt that the dragon lizard that was chasing after him just now was even more terrifying than the King of Slaughter. It could definitely tear him apart easily. Yi Qinfeng hid in the tree hole for a short while to recover his consumed soul power. The dragon lizard that was wandering outside the forest hesitated for a while, but still took the risk and entered the forest. Its huge body instantly crushed a large area of ancient trees. The hard ground was covered with cracks because of its strong limbs. Not good, that dragon lizard is coming. While Yi Qinfeng was recovering his consumed soul power, his sharp senses sensed that the dragon lizard's aura was quickly approaching. Just as he was about to leave the tree hole and escape into the depths of the black forest, a domineering lion's roar that pierced through the 9 heavens suddenly rang out, causing the entire space to tremble. Roar! A monster that was more than 50 meters long and dozens of feet tall, covered in black dragon scales, with a huge lion's head and a spiral golden horn on its forehead, rushed out of the forest and roared at the dragon lizard that trespassed on its territory. Golden horned dragon lion. Through the gaps in the trees, Yi Qinfeng saw the huge monster that appeared at the foot of the mountain from afar. He immediately recognized that this monster was a variant of the demonic beasts, the golden horned dragon lion that was almost extinct in the Duhan continent. Dragon blood also flowed in its body. Judging from the aura of this golden horned dragon lion, this dragon lion was probably a level 7 heavenly beast, which was equivalent to a human emperor. Seeing the appearance of the golden horned dragon lion, the dragon lizard that was chasing after Yi Qinfeng was frightened. It immediately shook its huge body and tried to escape. However, the frenzied golden horned dragon lion did not give it a chance to escape. Its huge body leaped and directly pounced on the dragon lizard's huge body. It opened its bloody mouth, and its fangs that were several meters long directly broke through the dragon lizard's body defense, biting its neck ruthlessly. Roar! Suddenly, the dragon lizard let out a painful howl. Its huge body struggled desperately, attacking the golden horned dragon lion, trying to escape from the lion's mouth. Golden rock bloodline, burn! While the 2 powerful heavenly beasts were fighting fiercely, Yi Qinfeng seized the opportunity and burned the thin golden rock bloodline in his body again, greatly increasing his speed. He broke through the tall ancient trees and quickly escaped from this gloomy forest. When the ferocious golden horned dragon lion tore apart the dragon lizard's huge body, swallowed its monster core, and killed it, Yi Qinfeng had successfully escaped from the forest. Huff, this is too scary. I have to leave the ancient land of North Sea as soon as possible. Otherwise, I might really die here. Recalling the scene of the fierce battle between the golden horned dragon lion and the dragon lizard, Yi Qinfeng had a lingering fear. He felt that if he continued to stay in the ancient land of North Sea, he would be in grave danger. He quickly found a relatively safe area and continued to control the God-Eater brain, using the topographic map in his mind to deduce the changes in the ancient land of North Sea, looking for a way to leave. About 3 days later, Yi Chanfeng, who was sitting cross-legged like a sculpture, suddenly opened his eyes and flew towards the northwest of the ancient land of North Sea at an extremely fast speed. About 5 days later, when he crossed a flame fissure that extended for tens of thousands of meters in the ancient land of North Sea at an extremely fast speed, releasing black flaming clouds and covering the sky, he was chased by a level 6 heavenly beast black flaming python that was almost 100 meters long. Fortunately, this flaming python was not fast. Yi Qinfeng used the complicated topography of the ancient land of North Sea to get rid of its pursuit. He found a relatively safe place and continued to deduce the terrain with the God-Eater brain. Just like this, more than a month passed. With the help of the God-Eater brain's heaven-defying ability, Yi Qinfeng slowly approached the ever-changing exit. During this month, he had encountered 13 life and death trials. He was surrounded by a large number of dead spirits and chased by more than 10 powerful heavenly beasts, including an extremely rare level 8 heavenly beast, the Black Gold Ape King, which was comparable to a level 3 combat beast emperor. However, Yi Qinfeng had also gained a lot of benefits. After going through the life and death trials, his cultivation foundation had become more solid. The 8 Sha Azura art had refined a large amount of death aura, and there were signs of condensing the 4th killing halo. And that's the exit. I finally found the exit. When the exhausted Yi Qinfeng followed the route calculated by the God-Eater brain on the 47th day, he finally saw the exit of the ancient land of North Sea covered by clouds and mist. He quickly flapped his golden rock wings and flew towards it. Just as he approached the exit of the ancient land of North Sea, his sharp senses suddenly detected a strong sense of danger. The King of Massacre, who had entered the ancient North Sea more than 10 times and had a deep understanding of the surroundings, suddenly walked out from a pile of rocks. He released a powerful killing intent and locked onto the distant Yi Qinfeng. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 331, King of Massacre. Yi Qinfeng looked at the black-robed King of Massacre, who exuded a strong killing intent and had a ferocious glint in his eyes. His joy from finding an exit vanished, and his heart sank to rock bottom. Yi Qinfeng, you are really lucky. With your strength, you were actually able to survive for 2 months in the ancient North Sea without dying. This is really beyond my expectations. The King of Massacre said with a murderous intent as he walked towards Yi Qinfeng with heavy footsteps. I also didn't expect that you would be able to find the exit before me. Yi Qinfeng looked at the King of Massacre warily as he retreated. This king has entered the ancient North Sea more than 10 times. I have long figured out the changes within. However, you were still able to find your way back after getting lost in the ancient North Sea. It seems that the thing you obtained from the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus is related to this ancient North Sea, the King of Massacre said arrogantly. King of Massacre, you are very smart. The thing I obtained from the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus is the topographic map of this ancient North Sea. But so what? Do you think you can obtain this precious topographic map from me? Yi Qinfeng admitted frankly. Why? Do you still think you have a chance to escape now? The King of Massacre looked at Yi Qinfeng coldly, his powerful killing intent completely locking onto him. King of Massacre, don't force yourself. You are so heavily injured. I estimate that you can only use 50% of your strength at most. Yi Qinfeng's soul was abnormally strong. When the King of Massacre released his killing intent and locked onto him, he could sense that the King of Massacre's injuries were very serious. With the king of massacre's heavy injuries, Yi Chen-fong felt that if he used the life spirit technique and burned 1,000 years of his lifespan, he would definitely be able to put up a fight. However, the life spirit technique was his final trump card. Unless it was absolutely necessary, Yi Chen-fong wasn't willing to burn his lifespan recklessly and waste the water of life. Even if I use 50% of my strength, killing you will still be as easy as killing a chicken. The king of massacre's face instantly darkened. A pitch-black, middle-grade heaven-tier longsword that contained a dense killing power appeared in his hand. As for this middle-grade heaven artifact, it was forged by the king of massacre after spending countless years in heaven and earth's spiritual treasures. It was called the Heaven Killing Sword, and its hardness was comparable to a high-grade heaven artifact. It was extremely terrifying. Wrath of God's punishment. The instant the king of massacre took out the heaven-killing sword, the ancient cold black ice, the dark extreme fire, and the ancient extreme purple lightning surged out of Yi Chen-feng's body. They quickly gathered and merged into a meteor-like ball of energy that shot toward the king of massacre. The power of the spiritual fire and spiritual thunder increased, and the destructive power of the divine punishment became even more terrifying. Explode! Just as the wrath of God's retribution was about to hit the king of massacre, Yi Chen-fong quickly detonated it. Rumble! A series of thunderous explosions rang out, and a destructive force that was like a volcanic eruption exploded before the king of massacre. Waves of surging air currents spread out wantonly, distorting the space and sweeping toward the king of massacre. Flaming dragon destroys the world. Slash! The king of massacre didn't dodge the destructive force produced by the wrath of God's punishment's self-detonation. Several sword Dao patterns surged out of his body, turning into a flaming dragon that was baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. It crashed into the destructive storm. The terrifying attack directly tore a crack in the destructive storm, which continued to extend in midair. The instant the wrath of God's punishment self-detonated, Yi Chen-fong immediately summoned his golden rock wings and fled toward the North Sea ancient land. Where do you think you are going? When the king of massacre saw that Yi Chen-fong was escaping, he immediately condensed his blood-red soul wings and chased after him. However, the wrath of God's punishment's self-detonation caused the space to become extremely unstable, which greatly affected the king of massacre's pursuit speed. Yi Chen-fong, I swear that no matter where you go, I will catch you. The king of massacre quickly threw a priceless heaven-class soul elixir into his mouth and forcefully suppressed the injuries on his body. When he saw Yi Chen-fong flying faster and faster, he let out an uncontrollable roar. King of massacre, just you wait. In 10 years at the latest, I will kill you. Yi Chen-fong didn't show any signs of weakness as he replied. His voice was filled with confidence, like thunder in the king of massacre's ears, causing the king of massacre to be infuriated. Yi Chen-fong rapidly fled for more than 4 hours, and the king of massacre gradually closed the distance between them. At this moment, Jiang Yi was flying above a rocky, barren stone valley that was emitting a scorching heat. The owner of this stone valley was an extremely ferocious, level 6 heavenly beast. It had a pair of fiery red wings and had once chased Jiang Yi for a day and a night. It was the scale-toothed fire tiger. Sword puppet, come out. After flying into the stone valley, Yi Chen-fong immediately summoned the sword puppet. As for himself, he circulated the soul-devouring art and concealed his aura. He hid in a remote corner of the stone valley. Boom! 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 The sword puppet flew out of the universe ring and immediately intertwined with a sharp sword light. It continuously attacked the stone valley, alerting the scale-toothed fire tiger that was cultivating in the depths of the stone valley. An angry tiger's roar rang out in the valley, and the powerful sound wave shook the craggy monsters into powder. The scale-toothed fire tiger turned into a fiery red shadow and pounced towards the sword puppet that had trespassed on its territory. The two of them engaged in a fierce battle. While the sword puppet was fighting with the scale-toothed fire tiger, the King of Massacre had caught up with them. Sword puppet, lure the scale-toothed fire tiger to the King of Massacre. When the King of Massacre appeared, Yi Qinfeng, who was hiding in the dark, immediately gave the order to the sword puppet. Upon receiving the order, the sword puppet relied on its indestructible body to withstand the ferocious attacks of the scale-toothed fire tiger. Its entire body soared into the sky and flew towards the King of Massacre at an extremely fast speed. Die for me! When the King of Massacre saw the sword puppet suddenly flying towards him, he didn't hesitate. Wielding the heaven-killing sword, he met the sword puppet head-on. The incomparably sharp sword heavily slashed down on the sword puppet's body, creating a glaring explosion as it was sent flying to the ground. After the sword puppet was sent flying by the King of Massacre's sword, the scale-toothed fire tiger changed its target. It flapped its huge wings and attacked the King of Massacre, who posed a greater threat to it. Withdraw! Yi Qinfeng, who was hiding in the dark, saw that the sword puppet had successfully provoked the scale-toothed fire tiger and the King of Massacre. He immediately stored the sword puppet, which had fallen to the ground, into his universe ring. Then he flapped his golden rock wings and flew back to the North Sea Ancient Lands exit. Where do you think you're going? When the King of Massacre saw Yi Qinfeng appear and flee, it wanted to give chase. However, the scale-toothed fire tiger's attacks were too ferocious, completely entangling it. By the time the King of Massacre used its thunderous might to force the scale-toothed fire tiger back, Yi Qinfeng had already disappeared. F***CK. After forcing the scale-toothed fire tiger back, the heavily injured King of Massacre knew that he had been tricked by Yi Qinfeng again. He was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. Ignoring his injuries, he continued to chase after Yi Qinfeng. Luckily, the North Sea Ancient Lands terrain changes by the day. In less than a day, the location of the Ancient Lands entrance hasn't changed. Yi Qinfeng rapidly flew for close to 4 hours before finally arriving at the North Sea Ancient Lands exit. 1. 5 million genes of strength break. Yi Qinfeng roared as his strength surged into the titanic fault heavenly sword. His sword pierced through the entrance like a hot knife through butter. He wanted to tear apart the restriction and quickly leave the North Sea Ancient Land. While he was attacking the Ancient Land's exit with all his strength, his sharp senses sensed that the space around the exit had become extremely unstable. He suspected that there was a terrifying energy brewing, and at this time the furious King of Massacre flew back, surrounded by killing light. Break! Yi Qinfeng roared as 3 killing halos appear behind him. The 3 sword Dao patterns fused into the titanic fault heavenly sword and pierced through the human-sized exit restriction. Sword puppet, seal the exit. When Yi Qinfeng sent out the exit restriction, he summoned the sword puppet and ordered the sword puppet to stick close to the restriction wall. He wanted to use his indestructible body to block the exit and not give the King of Massacre a chance to come out. Boom! 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 When the King of Massacre saw that the sword puppet dared to use his body to block the exit, he immediately unleashed a torrent of attacks, wanting to shatter it. However, the sword puppet's body was too tough. The King of Massacre's attacks could only deplete the sword puppet's energy and shatter the restriction behind it. They couldn't cause any damage to it. What kind of body is this? The King of Massacre got more and more shocked as he attacked. He didn't expect that his attacks wouldn't be able to kill the sword puppet. Boom! Boom! Just as the King of Massacre was attacking with all his might, a gray energy storm formed at the entrance of the North Sea Ancient Land and engulfed heaven and earth. Not good. It's the Death Storm. The King of Massacre saw the Death Storm form from afar. His expression changed as he increased the intensity of his attacks. However, he still couldn't break the sword puppet's body. At this time, The destructive death storm was getting closer and closer. It was a fatal threat to him. Helpless, the furious king of massacre could only give up on attacking the sword puppet. He chased after Yi Qinfeng and fled into the North Sea ancient land with hatred. Mobile reading site. This book's address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 332. Another crisis, King of Slaughter. I hope you don't die so early in the North Sea ancient land. Otherwise, it would be meaningless. After successfully tricking the King of Massacre, causing him to be in grave danger, Yi Qinfeng revealed a cold smile as a sharp light flashed in his eyes. Then he muttered in his heart, "Wait until I come back to Slaughter City. I will definitely make you crawl at my feet. Sword puppet, let's go." Yi Qinfeng stored the sword spirit puppet, whose energy was severely depleted, into his universe ring. Then, with a flap of the golden rock's wings, he cut through the ice-cold seawater and flew towards the trench at an extremely fast speed. After about a day, a pillar of water shot up into the sky from the blue sea. Yi Qinfeng was like a flood dragon as he broke out of the sea and flew through the North Sea at an extremely fast speed. A ship. After flying for several hours, Yi Qinfeng saw from afar a ship that was over 100 meters long. It was completely black in color and had several dozen chimneys emitting black smoke. It looked like a sharp sword as it sped across the turbulent sea. The Wu clan's ship. Seeing the Wu flag hanging on the ship, Yi Qinfeng's lips curled up slightly. He drew an afterimage in the sky as he flew over at an extremely fast speed. "Third Elder, it seems like a supreme king is flying toward our ship." The Wu clan disciple standing on the observation deck noticed Yi Qinfeng from afar. He immediately took out his communication pearl and sent a message to the Wu clan's third elder, who was cultivating in the cabin. A supreme king? The black-robed Wu clan's third elder exuded a sharp killing intent. He slightly frowned and stopped cultivating. He slowly stood up and walked out of the cabin to the deck. "It's him. How could it be him?" When the Wu clan's third elder saw that the person flying over was actually the terrifying Yi Qinfeng of the Wu clan, his expression greatly changed as he loudly ordered, "Wu clan's disciples, listen up! Turn the soul crystal cannons around and attack. Do not let this person near our ship, no matter what." Boom, boom, boom. Following Elder Wu's command, the dozen or so soul crystal cannons on the ship turned toward Yi Qinfeng. Energy beams filled with explosive power shot toward Yi Qinfeng, causing the entire space to tremble. Swish, swish. Yi Qinfeng unleashed his powerful soul and sensed the trajectories of the energy light beams. He flew back and forth at high speed, dodging the attacks. He passed through the concentrated energy light beams and landed on the deck of the ship. "What? You don't welcome me?" Yi Qinfeng retracted his wings, which were as sharp as golden swords. He looked at the Wu family's third elder and the others, who all had ugly expressions on their faces. "Yi Qinfeng, it was not my Wu clan's intention to deal with you back then. It was Great Elder Shue's idea. If you want to take revenge, you should look for Great Elder Shue, not my Wu clan." Although the Wu clan's third elder's realm was far higher than Yi Qinfeng's, when he thought about his title of Sword God and the fact that he had insta-killed the 6 peerless kings in Slaughter City, the Wu clan's third elder could not muster up any thoughts of resistance. He spoke without confidence. "Don't worry. Sooner or later, I will settle accounts with them with interest. However, you won't live to see that day." Yi Qinfeng never showed mercy to his enemies. Blood and bones intertwined with killing intent radiated from his body and locked onto the Wu clan's third elder, whose expression greatly changed. "Yi Qinfeng, are you going to kill us all?" The Wu clan's third elder roared somewhat timidly. He had already thought of breaking out of the encirclement and escaping. Kill us all. Yi Qinfeng coldly laughed and said, If I did not have absolute strength, I would have been killed by your Wu clan already. Right now, I am only looking for you to collect some interest. As he spoke, 3 deathly white killing halos appeared behind him. He completely erupted with 1,500,000 gene of strength and pierced towards the Wu clan's 3rd elder like a hot knife through butter. Iron Rhino, fuse! As Yi Qinfeng's sword pierced over, a huge rhino covered in steel-like black skin appeared behind the Wu clan's 3rd elder. The bloodline power in his body was completely activated, continuously increasing his strength. Rending light claw. An extremely sharp claw broke out of the Wu clan's 3rd elder's body. It grabbed towards the gigantic, fault heavenly sword. The moment he used the rending light claw, he quickly condensed his soul wings and wanted to break out of the encirclement and escape. Chi! A sound of cloth being torn apart rang out. The gigantic fault heavenly sword that was filled with 1,500,000 gene of killing power easily tore apart the rending light claw. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng slashed at the void. A crescent-shaped sword arc cut through the void and slashed towards the 3rd elder at a speed that was difficult to see with the naked eye. Facing this terrifying sword, the Wu clan's 3rd elder only felt that he was enveloped by the aura of death. His breathing became hurried, and his hair stood on end. He hurriedly used all his strength to resist. Boom! The crescent sword arc viciously chopped down on the defense that the Wu clan's 3rd elder had condensed with all his strength. The huge explosive force was like a surging tide that surged into his arms, tearing apart the muscles of his arms and causing scarlet blood to spurt out. Damn it! What are you all standing there for? Hurry up and attack. If I die, don't think you can live either. The Wu clan's 3rd elder didn't expect Yi Qinfeng's attack to be so terrifying that it could easily injure him. He immediately shouted at the stunned Wu clan's experts. If you don't want to die, you can jump off the ship. If you stay on the ship, kill without mercy. Yi Qinfeng's sharp eyes swept across the Wu clan's experts who were trembling with fear as he warned them with a stern killing intent. Bang, bang, bang! As soon as Yi Qinfeng's voice fell, several Wu clan's experts who were scared silly by his strength jumped off the ship without hesitation and quickly fled for their lives. With someone taking the lead to jump off the ship, hundreds of Wu clan's experts also jumped off the ship and fled. In less than 10 breaths of time, only the pale and trembling Wu clan's 3rd elder was left on the ship. After being abandoned by the Wu clan's 3rd elder was in despair. He never dreamed that at this critical moment, no one would be willing to fight alongside him. Blood chi ignition. With no way out, the Wu clan's 3rd elder steeled his heart and quickly ignited all the blood chi in his body. He raised his strength to the greatest extent for one last gamble. Soul suppressing tablet. The Wu family's 3rd elder, whose strength had been raised to the limit, roared. Blood-red soul power condensed into a giant hand that covered the sky and smashed towards Yi Qinfeng with the weight of Mount Tai. Sword Dao pattern break. The soul-suppressing tablet with powerful destructive power smashed over. 3 sword Dao patterns rushed out of Yi Qinfeng's body and fused into the gigantic Fault Sky sword. The sword broke apart the soul-suppressing tablet that was descending from the sky and cleaved towards the Wu clan's 3rd elder. TK, blood splattered everywhere. The Wu clan's 3rd elder's left arm was cleaved off by the sword Dao pattern. A large amount of blood spurted out and dyed the deck red. The Wu clan's 3rd elder was in so much pain that he howled in agony. After the first slash, Yi Qinfeng cleaved 2 more times and severed the Wu clan's 3rd elder's right arm. He then pierced through the Wu clan's 3rd elder's heart meridian and crippled him. Soul devouring, art devour. After crippling the Wu clan's 3rd elder, Yi Qinfeng immediately appeared behind him and circulated the soul devouring art to devour the Wu clan's spirit beast. Just as Yi Qinfeng devoured the Wu clan's third elder's spirit beast and ended his life, he was ready to take control of the ship and leave the chaotic sea. Two more giant ships that were more than 100 meters long appeared. When Yi Qinfeng stood on the deck and saw the flags hanging from the two ships, as well as the figures on the deck, his expression changed slightly. Without hesitation, he summoned the Golden Rock Wings and abandoned the Wu family ship that he had just seized. He flew to the edge of the chaotic ocean at an extremely fast speed. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 333. Xingluo Sky City's Assassination. Yi Qinfeng. That golden afterimage is Yi Qinfeng. Xue Kuluo, who was wearing a blood-red robe and standing on the deck, saw Yi Qinfeng's rapidly flying figure. He raised his eyebrows and hurriedly shouted. As soon as Xue Kuluo's voice fell, the 6 kings on the 2 giant ships simultaneously condensed red soul wings. Like arrows, they shot into the sky with ear-piercing sounds, chasing after Yi Qinfeng with extreme speed. The 2 ships that had suddenly appeared and scared away Yi Qinfeng came from the distant Xingluo Sky City. After learning that Yi Qinfeng had actually mastered the 8 Sha Azura technique and 4 slaughter styles that Xingluo Sky City had never taught to outsiders, the current city lord of Xingluo Sky City was greatly shocked. He immediately sent experts to capture Yi Qinfeng. Who would have thought that His Majesty would actually fail? This Yi Qinfeng is truly surprising. A figure wearing a black robe that covered his entire body and wearing a silver mask looked in the direction that Yi Qinfeng had fled in and said in a low voice, "Shadow, should we chase after him?" Xue Kuluo asked with a complicated expression. "No need. The most important thing now is to contact His Majesty. If we can contact His Majesty, perhaps we can still turn the situation around. Otherwise, with our strength, we won't be able to snatch him from the 6 of them." Shadow shook his head and replied, "However, the King of Slaughter was currently trapped in the North Sea ancient land and was on the brink of death. No matter how they tried to contact him, they couldn't contact him. 2 rank 5 Defiant Beast Kings and 4 rank 4 Defiant Beast Kings. This Xingluo Sky City really thinks highly of me." Sensing the strength of the 6 Xingluo Sky City peerless kings chasing after him, Yi Qinfeng couldn't help but reveal a trace of a bitter smile. He didn't expect that after escaping the King of Slaughter's pursuit, he would be pursued by the experts of Xingluo Sky City. At this moment, Yi Qinfeng yearned for power. If he had enough power, all the dangers could be easily solved. What a fast speed! That Yi Qinfeng is clearly only a level 5 mystic beast ancestor, relying on a pair of demonic beast wings. His flying speed is actually so fast, it's really shocking. The 6 peerless kings of Xingluo Heaven City had chased for more than 2 hours, but they had only managed to close the distance between them and Yi Qinfeng. This greatly shocked the 6 of them. That Yi Qinfeng's wings are not simple. If I'm not wrong, they should be a pair of golden rock wings. The leader of the group was an old man in a dark blue robe. He had white hair and sword-like eyebrows and bright eyes. Golden rock wings. Hearing the blue-robed elder's words, the other 5 supreme kings were even more shocked. The golden rock was known as the fastest flying heavenly beast in the Duhan continent. The bloodline of the divine beast, the golden-winged rock, flowed in its body. A young golden rock already had the strength of a supreme king. As for a matured golden rock, even an emperor-level expert would have to avoid its sharp edge. This Yi Qinfeng is not simple. He must be hiding a huge secret. We must not let him escape. As they spoke, the 6 supreme kings increased their flying speed, trying to close the distance between them and Yi Qinfeng at all costs. Time passed by slowly. Yi Qinfeng and the 6 supreme kings of Xingluo Heaven City were flying rapidly above the Azure Sea. As the 6 of them continued to increase their speed, they spent nearly a day and finally caught up with Yi Qinfeng. Green shadow entanglement. The blue-robed elder, who was the fastest, roared. Large amounts of green light surged out of his body like dancing spiritual snakes. They entangled Yi Qinfeng and slowed down his flying speed. Sword-based Dao pattern break. The rapidly flapping wings of the golden rock were entangled by the green light. 3 sword-based Dao patterns immediately surged out of Yi Qinfeng's body and tore apart the entanglement of the green shadow. Sword-based Dao pattern. I didn't sense it wrongly, right? That was a sword-based Dao pattern. The moment the 3 sword-based Dao patterns tore apart the entanglement of the green shadow, the 6 supreme kings who were chasing after Yi Qinfeng were all shocked. Dao patterns were extremely mysterious and profound. Normally, only those who had broken through to the emperor level would have the opportunity to comprehend them. Those who were able to comprehend Dao patterns at the reverse Beast King level were considered geniuses among geniuses, monsters among monsters. Therefore, the 6 supreme kings of Xingluo Heaven City were completely stunned when they saw Yi Qinfeng, who was a Class 5 mystic beast ancestor, comprehending 3 sword-based Dao patterns. What kind of monster did the city Lord ask us to capture? After seeing Yi Qinfeng comprehending 3 sword-based Dao patterns, the 6 of them no longer underestimated Yi Qinfeng. They treated him as an expert on the same level as them. 7 swords of judgment, extreme cold. After tearing apart the green shadow, the 3 sword-based Dao patterns quickly evolved and transformed into an extreme cold sword light that could freeze the void. It tore through the sky and carried a shocking destructive power as it attacked the 6 of them. Rumble. The sky shook violently. After being attacked by the extreme cold sword light, the blue-robed elder's speed slowed down. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yi Qinfeng flapped his golden rock wings and quickly escaped. Storm! Suddenly, Yi Qinfeng, who was flying at high speed, realized that the sky in front of him had darkened. Large amounts of dark clouds covered the sky and covered the earth. Lightning snakes were rolling in the dark clouds. Violent winds, mixed with the storm, swept across the surface of the sea. Waves that were dozens of meters tall surged into the sky, and the entire space became chaotic. All right, since you guys insist on chasing after me, then let's fight to the death in this storm. Since he couldn't escape the pursuit of the 6 supreme kings with speed, Yi Qinfeng made up his mind and decided to take the risk to enter the stormy clouds and use his life spirit technique to finish them off. Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor, Ancient Extreme Purple Thunder. Yi Qinfeng quickly put on the damaged Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor that he didn't have time to repair. He then fused the Ancient Extreme Purple Thunder into the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor and increased its resistance to lightning. He then rushed into the dark clouds. What is he doing? Seeing Yi Qinfeng rush into the dark clouds, the 6 supreme kings looked at each other and didn't slow down. They followed Yi Qinfeng into the flashing lightning snakes and the dark clouds that covered dozens of nautical miles. Rumble. The moment Yi Qinfeng broke through the dark clouds, countless violent thunders exploded in his ears. The densely packed lightning snakes bombarded his body, but they were blocked by the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor and Ancient Extreme Purple Thunder. Just as he was enduring the baptism of the violent lightning, the blue-robed elder and the other supreme kings also broke through the clouds and flew in, surrounding Yi Qinfeng. The moment they flew into the clouds, low-grade heaven-grade battle armor appeared on their bodies at the same time, resisting the violent lightning. Why aren't you running? The blue-robed elder looked at Yi Qinfeng deeply and said in a low voice, I think this place is not bad. I can make a cemetery for the 6 of you. The corners of Yi Qinfeng's mouth curled up slightly, revealing an unruly smile as he spoke in an extremely domineering manner. Arrogant. The blue-robed elder and the other supreme kings didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to be so arrogant and bold. They flew into a rage and glared at him with round eyes. Whether I'm arrogant or not, you'll know soon. As he spoke, a large amount of bloody light poured out of his body. A double-headed blood dragon king that was more than 3,000 meters long appeared, tearing apart countless lightning snakes. It roared into the sky, and its dragon might shook the sky. Dragon. His spiritual beast is a mutated double-headed dragon. Seeing Yi Qinfeng's spiritual beast, the blue-robed elder and the other supreme kings were even more shocked. They realized that Yi Qinfeng was even more terrifying than they had imagined. They all merged with their spiritual beasts, preparing to capture him together. Life Soul Technique, burning 1,000 years of lifespan. After fusing with his spiritual beast, the double-headed Blood Dragon King, Yi Qinfeng's strength had been greatly improved. He then cast the Life Soul Technique and burned 1,000 years of lifespan. Suddenly, a large amount of life force erupted in Yi Qinfeng's body, pushing his own realm to rise steadily. In the blink of an eye, Yi Qinfeng had the peak strength of a 4th-level Defiant Beast King. What? Sensing Yi Qinfeng's sudden surge in strength, the blue-robed elder and the other supreme kings were so shocked that their eyeballs almost fell out. Yi Qinfeng's means were completely beyond their imagination, making them feel shocked and deeply uneasy at the same time. Mobile reading site. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 334. An intense battle in the thunderclouds, wrath of divine punishment. His strength was raised to the maximum. The ancient extreme purple lightning, dark extreme fire, and ancient extreme ice broke out of Yi Qinfeng's body and quickly fused into a violent and destructive ball of light. It tore through the clouds and blasted towards the blue-robed elder and the others. What kind of attack is this? The blue-robed elder and the others' expressions changed when they were attacked by the wrath of divine punishment. They all unleashed their powerful soul skills and clashed with the wrath of divine punishment. Rumble. The wrath of divine punishment exploded. Waves of destructive power surged out in all directions like a tidal wave and blasted a huge hole in the dense black clouds. The entire space was distorted. Although the blue-robed old man and the others were able to withstand the destructive force from the explosion of the wrath of divine punishment by relying on their powerful strength, they were still blasted apart by the surging destructive force. Instant kill. Yi Qinfeng's pupils shrank. He locked onto the weakest of the 6. She had a voluptuous figure and was wearing a black dress. She had a head of dark green hair and was wielding a pair of swords. He pierced towards her as quickly as lightning. After unleashing his Life Soul Technique, Yi Qinfeng possessed the strength of a Class 4 Defiant Beast King for a short period of time. He was even faster when he unleashed his instant kill. His lightning-fast figure turned into a faint light. He was so fast that no one could see his attack trajectory. Water Dual 10 Swords. Yi Qinfeng attacked with his sword. The woman in the black dress, who had a lot of battle experience, reacted instinctively. The 2 swords in her hands shone with aqua blue light. They crisscrossed together and formed a cross-shaped sword aura, slashing towards Yi Qinfeng, who was approaching her. Wang. When the 2 powerful soul skills collided, dense ripples of water immediately surged out and dispersed in all directions like a whirlwind sweeping away the clouds. 1,500,000 kilograms of force break. The black-robed lady used her soul skill to block the instant kill. Her 6 meridians circulated rapidly. More than 1,500,000 kilograms of force was channeled into the titanic Fault Heavenly Sword, which was more than 20,000 kilograms. 81 offensive patterns were activated. The sword pierced through the aqua-blue cross-shaped sword light like a hot knife through butter and pierced the black-robed lady's chest. Although the black-robed lady was wearing an inferior-grade, heaven-grade battle armor, the Titanic Fault Heavenly Sword was a middle-grade, heaven-grade weapon. Yi Qinfeng's strongest attack was more powerful than the heaven-grade battle armor. Crack! Crack! Cracks appeared on the low-grade, heaven-grade battle armor on the black-dressed woman's body. A large amount of blood seeped through the cracks of the battle armor. Sword Dao pattern. The low-grade celestial armament shattered, and 3 sword-type runes shot out. The tip of the sword pierced the woman's chest, destroying her heart meridian. Blood spurted out of her mouth uncontrollably. Hey you! Yi Qinfeng severely injured the black-robed lady in a split second. By the time the blue-robed elder and the others reacted, the black-robed lady was already severely injured. Her combat strength was greatly weakened. Go to hell! Yi Qinfeng roared. Before the blue-robed elder and the others could rescue her, he froze her body with the ancient mysterious ice. The star-slashing sword light was released and cleaved her head, which she couldn't dodge in time. Bang! Large amounts of blood splattered. The black-robed lady's head was smashed by the star-slashing sword light. Blood and brain matter splattered everywhere. Yi Qinfeng, I want your life. The blue-robed elder was enraged when he saw his comrade being killed and his corpse falling into the azure sea. 5 destructive soul skills surged and blasted at Yi Qinfeng. PFFF. Yi Qinfeng might have reacted quickly, but the blue-robed elder and the others were too ferocious. He was still affected by the aftershocks and spat out a mouthful of blood. Ancient, extreme purple lightning absorbed the lightning. With his body injured, the ancient, extreme purple lightning surged out of his body and released a strong devouring force. It absorbed the lightning snakes in the dark clouds. In an instant, Yi Qinfeng was surrounded by a large amount of lightning. Frenzied demon blade art. As the ancient extreme purple thunder absorbed the lightning, the blue-robed old man shouted. He held a heaven artifact battle saber in his hand. The saber hilt was embedded with gems, and the body of the saber was engraved with a large number of ancient patterns. In an instant, 18 sword shadows slashed down. The ferocious attacks were like floodwaters that opened the floodgates. Each wave was higher than the previous one. The dazzling sword lights were like meteors that fell to the ground and broke apart the lightning around Yi Qinfeng. Rumble! Hundreds of lightning snakes were cleaved apart by the blue-robed elder's frenzied demon blade art. Immediately, a blinding light burst out and blinded everyone. The entire space became extremely unstable. Ancient extreme purple lightning explode. Just as the 18 sword lights were about to slash at Yi Qinfeng's body, he suddenly detonated the ancient extreme purple lightning and released a destructive force. The violent energy waves swept through everything like raging waves. It tore apart the clouds and neutralized the 18 sword lights. Raging inferno cloud. Black moon dance. Blood refinement slash. Sky-bearing palm. While Yi Qinfeng and the blue-robed elder were fighting, the remaining 4 people attacked at the same time. For powerful soul skills fused together and tore apart the thick, dark clouds. They were like comets that streaked across the sky and bombarded Yi Qinfeng. Golden Rock Bloodline Ignite. Yi Qinfeng quickly ignited his Golden Rock bloodline and increased his speed greatly. Before the 4 soul skills could reach him, he quickly rose into the air and pierced through the thick black clouds, dodging the 4 people's attacks. Where are you running to? A burly Class 4 defiant beast king with a beard and dragon head tattoos on both arms roared. He was holding a heavy axe and had a roar. His red soul wings flapped violently as he chased after Yi Qinfeng. Die! The burly man's murderous aura surged. Yi Qinfeng's pupils immediately contracted into the most dangerous pinholes. 3 sword Dao patterns shot out from his body and formed a lightning whirlpool that engulfed heaven and earth. ZZZZ. Attracted by the lightning whirlpool, the lightning snakes in the dark clouds surged rapidly, increasing the power of the lightning whirlpool. 7 swords of judgment, lightning devour. Yi Qinfeng slashed down with his sword. The rapidly spinning lightning whirlpool turned into a huge lightning sword. It tore out streaks of sword light that pierced through the void and slashed towards the burly man, whose expression changed drastically. Raging inferno cloud. Feeling the killing power of the huge lightning sword, the burly man's expression changed drastically. He quickly ignited his qi and blood power. His arms danced rapidly and formed a burning flame whirlpool to resist with all his strength. However, the 7 swords of judgment was a mid-grade Dao skill and was extremely powerful. Furthermore, Yi Qinfeng was a class 4 defiant beast king, so the lightning devourer was even more powerful. Boom! The 2 powerful attacks collided with each other, and a deafening explosion rang out. The burly man's raging inferno cloud only lasted for 2 breaths of time before it was destroyed by the huge lightning sword. The huge lightning sword that was filled with destructive power didn't slow down at all and cut open a hole in his low-grade heaven artifact battle armor. The surging power of thunder crazily rushed into his body and tore his meridians. Not good. The blue-robed elder and the other 3 saw that the burly man was in danger and wanted to rush to his rescue. However, Yi Qinfeng's reaction was faster. He poured 5 million gene of force into the gigantic, fault, heavenly sword and threw it out with all his might. No, the burly man was severely injured and had lost control of his body. When he saw the 5 million gene, gigantic, fault, heavenly sword flying towards him, his heart trembled. He let out a desperate roar and wanted to dodge. However, the gigantic fault heavenly sword was too fast. In the blink of an eye, it broke through his defense and pierced through his head. Xingluo Heaven City's 2nd class 4 defiant beast king expert. Life destruction. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this book. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 335. Kill one more. Choose Sun. Seeing the burly man's head being pierced by the titanic sword, the blue-robed elder and the others went mad with rage. They never imagined that not only would the 6 of them fail to capture Yi Qinfeng, but 2 of them would be killed by him in the thunderclouds. Seal the thunderclouds. Don't run, the blue-robed elder ordered in anger. He wanted to take advantage of Yi Qinfeng's loss of his weapon to injure and capture him. Blood Demon Sword. Facing the furious attacks of the blue-robed old man and the other 3, Yi Qinfeng immediately took out the low-grade heaven artifact, Blood Demon Sword, that he had obtained from killing the blood-slaughtering Sword King, and used it to block the fierce attacks of the 4. The sword light and the saber light collided, creating an ear-piercing sound of collision. A string of sparks sputtered out, and the ferocious counterforce tore the thick, dark clouds apart, creating numerous cracks. After experiencing Yi Qinfeng's astonishing attack power, the blue-robed elder and the others didn't dare to be careless. They used all their strength to suppress Yi Qinfeng. For a moment, sword qi soared into the sky, and sabers tore through the void. The battle was incomparably fierce. Just as Yi Qinfeng's group of 5 were fighting intensely in the thunderclouds, a ship that was more than 100 meters long and as sturdy as an impregnable fortress sailed rapidly through the storm. When they passed under the thunderclouds, they heard the sound of something exploding. What's that sound? Are there people fighting in the thunderclouds? A beautiful woman in a white floral silk dress with a slender figure, skin as white as snow, and a temperament as elegant as a serene lotus, looked at the violently trembling tribulation clouds in the sky and asked in astonishment, "There are more than two people fighting in the thunderclouds, and they are very strong. They aren't any weaker than me, or the 10th elder." A white-haired old man in a moon-star Taoist robe spoke with a grave expression. His eyes flickered with the power of lightning. "Really?" A young woman, who looked somewhat similar to the white-robed woman, but had a crafty expression on her beautiful face, said doubtfully, "6th Grandpa, you and 10th Grandpa are both level 5 Defiant Beast Kings. I don't believe we'll meet such experts at the edge of the chaotic ocean." Pum! As he spoke, a figure that had lost control fell from the thick thunderclouds and crashed into the turbulent sea. "It's him. It's actually him." Catching sight of the face of the figure descending from the sky, the woman in the white dress widened her eyes. Her delicate face revealed an expression of disbelief, and she could not help but exclaim in surprise. This white-dressed woman was none other than the green-dressed woman, Bai Ziqing, who had given Yi Qinfeng a jade slip on the 3rd floor of the Tower of Slaughter. The somewhat unruly woman was his younger sister, the blue-clothed woman who had once been defeated by Yi Qinfeng by Yu. "Elder sister, who is that person?" Bai Yu blinked her big eyes and asked curiously when she saw Bai Ziqing's expression. "If I'm not mistaken, that person is Yi Qinfeng, the one who defeated you back then." Bai Ziqing took a deep breath and suppressed the shock in her heart as she spoke. "What?" "That person is Yi Qinfeng. He broke through to the Supreme King realm." Bai Yu's eyes widened as she cried out in disbelief. "Qing, do you know that person?" The white-haired old man asked in a low voice. "6th Grandpa, that person is Yi Qinfeng, the one I mentioned to you back then. Who would have thought that after not seeing him for a few months, he would actually break through to the Supreme King realm?" Bai Ziqing said, "What?" After learning Yi Qinfeng's identity, the white-haired old man also revealed a shocked expression. In just a few months, he had broken through from the 3rd level of the mystic beast ancestor realm to the Supreme King realm. Such a cultivation speed was unheard of. 6th Elder, look at those people. They seem to be people from Xingluo Sky City." As they spoke, the blue-robed old man and the other 3 broke through the thick thunderclouds and chased after Yi Qinfeng with extreme speed. They wanted to heavily injure and capture him in one fell swoop. "Sha Wuhai, Xie Gusong, how could it be them?" The white-haired old man saw the blue-robed old man and the other 3 and immediately recognized them. A trace of seriousness appeared on his face. Bai Ziqing's group came from the Bai family, a rank 7 sacred land of Xingluo continent. The relationship between the Bai family and Xingluo Sky City was not harmonious. They had clashed several times, and when the experts of the 2 forces met, fierce battles would often occur. 6th Grandpa, 10th Grandpa, this Yi Qinfeng's background is definitely not simple. If we help him during his most difficult time, perhaps our Bai family can form a good relationship with the force behind him and fight against Xingluo Sky City together. Bai Ziqing knew that providing help in a time of need was far better than adding flowers to a brocade, so she suggested softly, "Although the 6th Elder and I can stop Sha Wuhai and Xie Gusong, what about the remaining 2 rank for reverse Beast Kings? With your strength, you are definitely not their match. If we act rashly, it is very likely that we will bring death upon you." The short and slightly stooped 10th Elder spoke solemnly. However, his eyes were extremely sharp. "That's right, 10th Elder is right." The white-haired old man nodded and said, "Although that Yi Qinfeng is worth roping in, your safety is more important. Let us observe for a while longer. Yi Qinfeng, everything is over." The blue-robed old man, Sha Wuhai, who had joined forces to heavily injure Yi Qinfeng and quickly chased into the sea, roared. A crane phantom appeared behind him. The crane bloodline in his body was completely activated, and he launched a thunderous attack at Yi Qinfeng. Crazy Demon Saber Technique. 18 overlapping saber lights slashed through the layers of seawater like rolling waves and chopped towards Yi Qinfeng with unstoppable momentum. Just as Yi Qinfeng was about to be hit by Sha Wuhai's Crazy Demon Saber Technique, a black figure suddenly appeared in front of Yi Qinfeng, using his body to block the Crazy Demon Saber Technique. At the crucial moment, Yi Qinfeng summoned the sword puppet to block Sha Wuhai's killing blow. Boundless saber lights exploded on the sword puppet's body. Wrath of divine punishment. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and stabilized the injuries on his body. Ancient cold profound ice, ancient extreme purple lightning, and abyssal extreme flames surged out of his body, once again forming a destructive light ball that bombarded Sha Wuhai and the others. Boom, boom, boom. A thunderous sound rang out in the turbulent sea. Like a volcanic eruption, energy blasted open the sea surface and fiercely scattered Sha Wuhai and the others. With the help of the sword puppet's defense, Yi Qinfeng immediately locked onto the Class 4 Defiant Beast King closest to him. The golden rock wings flapped violently and quickly closed in on him. Judgment 7 swords, extreme frost. 3 sword Dao patterns turned into extreme frost sword light, freezing the chaotic seawater and slashing over like a reverse waterfall. Not good. Sensing the terror of the extreme frost sword light, this Class 4 Defiant Beast King's heart skipped a beat. He quickly put up a defense, and layers of defensive soul light condensed in front of him. However, the extreme frost sword light, filled with 3 sword Dao patterns, was extremely powerful. It bloomed with a sky-piercing radiance and directly pierced through his defense, bombarding his Heaven Artifact battle armor. The Heaven Artifact battle armor was forcefully torn apart, and a large amount of extreme frost sword light poured into his body. Judgment 7 swords, Thunder Devour. Just as he was heavily injured, Yi Qinfeng continued to perform the second style of the 7 swords of judgment. The terrifying lightning sword slashed onto his heavily injured body, and with one slash he was sent flying out of the turbulent sea and into the air. This Class 4 Defiant Beast King howled in pain as the thunder sword light surged into his body. Bang! Unable to withstand the thunder sword light's attack, his body exploded in the low-grade Heaven Artifact battle armor, and he died. Mobile reading website. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on Bookmark at the bottom to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 336. It's you two's turn, what? Yi Qinfeng killed a Class 4 Defiant Beast King while wearing a low-grade celestial battle armor? How is his attack power so terrifying? The 6th and 10th elders of the Bai clan were completely dumbfounded after witnessing the death of a Class 4 Defiant Beast King in Xingluo Sky City. It was as if they'd seen a ghost. Qing, are you sure that Yi Qinfeng was only a level 3 mystic beast ancestor a few months ago? The 6th elder took a deep breath and suppressed the shock in his heart as he asked. I can't be wrong. He really was only a Class 3 mystic beast ancestor a few months ago. Bai Ziqing nodded. Terrifying. Yi Qinfeng is too terrifying. The 6th elder sighed. With Yi Qinfeng's talent and strength, he's worth the risk. Then what are we waiting for? The stooped 10th elder laughed loudly and condensed a pair of red soul wings. Like a sharp sword, he and the 6th elder flew into the void at an extremely fast speed. Phew, I've finally killed 3. After using the 7 swords of judgment to kill the 3rd Class 4 Defiant Beast King, Yi Qinfeng's burning life force slowly receded. Soon, his cultivation level began to drop. Yi Qinfeng died. Sha Wuhai, a Class 5 Defiant Beast King, and Xie Gusong, who had been killed by Yi Qinfeng 3 times in a row, felt utterly humiliated. He completely forgot about the order to capture Yi Qinfeng alive and wanted to kill him at all costs. Sha Wu Hai, Xie Gu Song, why don't the two of us play with you? At this moment, a peerless sword light broke through the surface of the sea. The sixth elder and seventh elder of the Bai clan appeared in the midst of the chaos. Bai Hongyin, Bai Gujian, it's you. Sha Wuhai and the other two elders' expressions turned ugly at the sudden appearance of the two. They hadn't expected the Bai clan to appear at such a crucial time. Yi Qinfeng frowned slightly. As he looked at Bai Hongyun and Xiao Qin, he tried to guess their intentions. Bai Hongyin, Bai Gujian, this is none of your business. If you know what's good for you, leave at once. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless. Sha Wuhai warned with a gloomy expression. He felt that the situation was already out of his control. Haha, ruthless. The hunchbacked Bai Gujian laughed loudly and said arrogantly, I will kill you today. With that, a sharp sword light, filled with two sword-type Dao patterns, shot out. It tore through the water and slashed towards the strongest Sha Wuhai. When Bai Gujian made his move, Bai Hongyun also made his move. However, the instant he made his move, he sent a voice transmission to the confused Yi Qinfeng. Don't doubt our intentions. Once we've dealt with them, we'll naturally tell you why we're helping you. All right. Yi Qinfeng nodded. He gritted his teeth and gulped down 2 mouthfuls of Spring of Life to recover his almost depleted life force. Then he attacked the last class 4 Defiant Beast King in Xingluo Sky City with the sword puppet. Blood Refinement / Yi Qinfeng and the sword spirit puppet attacked. The blood-red battle blade in the hands of the star All Heaven City's grade for Defiant Beast King shone with a blinding blood-red light. It was like a blood-red moon slashing towards Yi Qinfeng. 8 Sha Azura Art 3 Killing Halos. Yi Qinfeng's life force was quickly fading away, and his strength was greatly reduced. Facing the level 4 Defiant Beast King's blood refinement slash, he quickly condensed 3 Killing Halos, which tripled his attack power. Eternal Night. 3 sword-type Dao patterns. 1,500,000 caddies of strength. The killing power surged into the gigantic Fault Heavenly Sword. A dazzling sword light shot out, filled with chilling killing intent, and slashed at the blood refinement slash. Boom, boom, boom. When the 2 soul skills collided, the entire sea started to shake, and huge waves started to roll violently in the sea. PFF. Yi Qinfeng, whose strength had dropped to Class 2 Defiant Beast King, was immediately hit by the powerful aftershock. His body trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. The difference in strength was obvious. 8 Sha Azura Art, 3rd layer for Slaughter Form's final form. Where did you get the secret technique of my star, All Heaven City, that has never been passed down to outsiders? Seeing the 3 killing halos behind Yi Qinfeng, the Class 4 Defiant Beast King revealed an expression of disbelief. Even with his status in Xingluo Sky City, he didn't have the qualifications to cultivate the 8 Sha Azura Art for Slaughter Forms. While he was still in shock, the sword puppet quickly closed in and released a terrifying sword light that enveloped him. The sword puppet's defense was invincible, but the energy it could fuse with was limited. It could only display the power of a Class 1 Defiant Beast King. Helpless, Yi Qinfeng didn't hesitate to burn another 400 years of his lifespan. Borrowing the powerful life force, he forcefully raised his strength to a Class 3 Defiant Beast King. Star Slaying, Demon Slaying, Savage Blood, Eternal Night. With his strength soaring, Yi Qinfeng quickly closed in on the Class 4 Defiant Beast King and used the 4 slaughter forms consecutively to suppress his ferocious attacks. His counterattack was completely blocked by the sword puppet's nearly invincible body. For a moment, he was surrounded by danger. On the other hand, the exhausted Sha Wuhai and Bai Gujian were also suppressed by Bai Hongyun and Bai Gujian's thunderous attacks. Large amounts of blood spurted out of their mouths. Defeat was only a matter of time. Wu Hai, the situation here is out of our control. I suggest we leave this place first and slowly deal with them later. Xie Gasong, whose injuries were getting more and more serious, wanted to retreat. Okay. Sha Wu Hai gritted his teeth and unwillingly responded, just as he looked at Yi Chunfeng with resentment. His pupils suddenly constricted. Under the sword puppet's freakish defense, Yi Chunfeng seized the opportunity and launched a fierce killing move. 3 sword Dao patterns turned into a giant thunderous sword that seemed to want to split heaven and earth. It slashed at the class 4 defiant Beast King with disdain. Bang! His defense was broken. The terrifying thunderous sword directly tore through his low-grade heaven artifact battle armor. The terrifying destructive power sent him flying out of the sea. Wrath of divine punishment. In the next moment, the 3 spiritual items rushed out of Yi Qinfeng's body and turned into a destructive light ball. It distorted the sea water and bombarded his heavily injured body like a meteor. For a moment, all sound in the world was swallowed by the explosion of the wrath of divine punishment. The terrifying destructive storm swallowed the class 4 defiant Beast King, who was howling in pain, and directly blew his body to pieces. Only a dull, low-grade heaven artifact battle armor was left behind and fell to the sea. Dead, they're all dead. After witnessing the scene of the last class 4 defiant Beast King being killed by Yi Qinfeng, Sha Wuhai and Xie Gusong's hearts fell into an abyss. They never expected this outcome. Even now, they still couldn't believe that a mere class 5 mystic beast ancestor like Yi Qinfeng could kill the 4 class 4 defiant Beast Kings they brought with them. It's your turn now. Leave your lives behind. Yi Qinfeng quickly drank a mouthful of heavenly fate water and recovered his soul power. He and the sword puppet pierced through the blood-soaked seawater and quickly launched fatal attacks at the shocked Sha Wuhai and Xie Gasong. Mobile reading site. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this book. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 337. Complete Annihilation, Insane Demon Saber Technique. Sha Wuhai took a deep breath. He burned all the blood and qi in his body at all costs, increasing his strength as much as possible. In an instant, he slashed out 36 saber strikes, creating layers upon layers of saber mountains that slashed toward Baigujian. He wanted to force him back and escape quickly, facing Sha Wuhai's burning blood essence and slashing out saber mountains. Even Baigujian felt a little pressure. Just as he condensed his sword Dao pattern to defend, the sword puppet suddenly appeared in front of him and used its indestructible body to block the insane demon saber technique's attack. What? Seeing his killer move that could instantly kill a class 4 defiant Beast King being easily blocked by the sword puppet's body, Sha Wuhai's eyes widened and revealed a look of disbelief. Heavenly Ancient Sword. Seizing the opportunity, when Sha Wuhai was in a daze, Baigujian's entire body fused with the heavenly sword in his hand. He cut through all obstacles and stabbed towards Sha Wuhai's chest. TSK. Sha Wuhai's low-grade heaven tier battle armor was pierced by the Baigujian. Large amounts of blood spurted out, and his meridians were crushed by the destructive power of the sword light. Baigujian, even if I die, I will drag you down to hell with me. With his meridians crushed, Sha Wuhai knew that he had lost the upper hand. Being proud and arrogant, he didn't choose to beg for mercy. Instead, he ignited all the soul power in his body and launched a final self-explosion attack towards Baigujian. Not good. Feeling the violent power from Sha Wuhai's body and seeing him quickly approaching, Baigujian's expression changed drastically. He wanted to dodge, but at this moment, the sword puppet appeared in front of him again. With a powerful force, it slammed into Sha Wuhai's body. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion erupted from Sha Wuhai's body, forming a destructive mushroom cloud. It directly blasted open a vacuum in the turbulent sea and shot into the clouds, distorting a large area of space. What a terrifying puppet! What kind of material is this puppet made of? It's actually indestructible. Bai Gujian still had a lingering fear in his heart when he saw that the sword puppet's sturdy body was not damaged at all despite being hit by Sha Wuhai's self-destruction head-on. He revealed a look of shock and became even more curious about Yi Qinfeng's identity and background. Sha Wuhai, who was the strongest, had died. Xie Gusong, who was being held back by Bai Hongyun, and Yi Qinfeng despaired. Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought that Xingluo Sky City would send out 6 high-level Defiant Beast Kings to capture a mystic beast ancestor realm brat. In the end, all of them were killed. Flame Dragon destroys the world. 3 dragons slash. Xie Gusong used all his strength to withstand Bai Hongyun's ferocious attacks. 3 sword Dao patterns shot out from the titanic Fault Heavenly Sword. They transformed into 3 fiery dragons that were bearing their fangs and brandishing their claws. They roared and crashed onto Xie Gusong's body. The powerful attack forcefully deformed Xie Gusong's low-grade heaven artifact battle armor. Large amounts of blood spurted out from his mouth. Just how many Dao skills has this Yi Qinfeng grasped? Sensing the power of the flame dragon destroys the world, Bai Hongyun did not doubt that this was also a Dao skill. The shock in his heart intensified. He felt that Yi Qinfeng was a bottomless pit. No one could guess how deep his foundation was. Self-destruction. Xie Gusong's injuries continued to worsen. He knew that he had lost the upper hand and was powerless to reverse the situation. He crazily detonated all the soul power in his body and launched a final attack towards Yi Qinfeng and Bai Gujian. Wrath of divine punishment. Yi Qinfeng's soul spirit perception was extremely sharp. The moment Xie Gusong self-destructed, ancient cold profound ice, dark extreme fire, and ancient extreme purple lightning surged out of his body. They transformed into a destructive light ball and bombarded Xie Gusong's body at close range. Without waiting for Xie Gusong to self-destruct, the destructive power of the destructive light ball blasted him away. Dozens of meters away from Yi Qinfeng and Yi Qingyu, Xie Gusong's body exploded, turning into an endless amount of energy as he died. Sword Puppet, quickly collect their belongings. With the help of Bai Hongyun and Bai Gujian, Yi Qinfeng managed to kill Sha Wuhai, Xie Gusong, and the rest of the 6 people. Yi Qinfeng immediately ordered the sword spirit puppet to retrieve the titanic fault heavenly sword from the bottom of the sea, as well as collect the belongings of Sha Wuhai and the rest. Thank you for your help. Yi Qinfeng knew that if not for Bai Hongyun and Bai Gujian's help, he would not have been able to kill Sha Wuhai and Bai Gujian with his strength, even if he used the life soul technique and burned his life force. However, Yi Qinfeng still could not figure out why they had helped him. Yi Qinfeng, are you curious why we brothers suddenly took action and risked our lives to help you kill Sha Wuhai and the others? Bai Hongyun asked in a low voice when he saw the doubt in Yi Qinfeng's eyes. And very curious, Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, "Come with us. I'll bring you to meet 2 people. You'll know why we helped you then." Bai Hongyun and Bai Gujian's soul wings appeared and broke through the rippling waves of the sea, flying back to the Bai family ship. As for the belongings of Sha Wuhai and the others, Bai Hongyun and Bai Gujian did not compete with Yi Qinfeng for them. Although the belongings of Sha Wuhai and the others were precious, they felt that it was more important to befriend the talented Yi Qinfeng. Therefore, they decided to do him a big favor. "Young Master Yi, we meet again." When Yi Qinfeng followed Bai Hongyun and Bai Gujian back to the Bai family ship, Bai Ziqing, who was wearing a long white dress, walked over and said in a pleasant voice, It's you too. Seeing the beautiful faces of Bai Ziqing and Bai Gujian, Yi Qinfeng lowered his guard and revealed a trace of surprise on his face. Yi Qinfeng, what did you eat growing up? How did you cultivate so quickly? Bai Yu blinked her big eyes and looked at Yi Qinfeng with a burning gaze. Even now, she still could not believe that Yi Qinfeng had the strength to kill a Class 4 Defiant Beast King in just a few months. Don't be impudent. Bai Ziqing glared at the unruly Bai Yu and reprimanded her. She was afraid that she would anger Yi Qinfeng and ruin their goal of befriending Yi Qinfeng. It's fine. Yi Qinfeng smiled faintly and said softly, no matter what, I, Yi Qinfeng, will remember your kindness in my heart. I will definitely repay you in the future. Young Master Ye's words are too serious. Hearing Yi Qinfeng's promise, Bai Ziqing's exquisite face revealed a charming smile. She asked softly, Young Master Yi, are you from our Xingluo continent? No, I'm from another place. Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said vaguely, but if there is a chance, I will definitely go to the Xingluo continent. Young Master Yi, we are from the Xingluo continents by clan. If Young Master Yi comes to the Xingluo continent in the future, you must definitely come to our by clan as a guest, and let us do our best to host you. Hearing that Yi Qinfeng was unwilling to reveal his identity, the smart Bai Ziqing did not continue to ask. She revealed her group's identity. By clan, a rank 7 sacred ground. Yi Qinfeng had heard of the Bai clan from the 8 Slaughter Battle Emperor and knew that they were one of the overlords of the Xingluo continent. Their clan strength was only inferior to Xingluo Sky City. All right, if there is a chance, I will definitely go there. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, Yi Qinfeng, where are you planning to go now? Do you want us to give you a ride? Bai Ziqing asked softly. No need. I still have some matters to attend to. I won't take up any more of your time. Yi Qinfeng shook his head and tactfully declined. All right, then we won't force young master to stay. However, the chaotic ocean is filled with dangers, and it would be inconvenient to travel without a ship. Coincidentally, we have a spare ship on our ship. We will gift it to young master. Bai Ziqing said cleverly. All right, then I won't stand on ceremony. A ship was definitely what Yi Qinfeng needed the most at the moment. He did not reject Bai Ziqing's good intentions and accepted the ship. After bidding farewell to Bai Ziqing and the rest, he left. Elder sister, is it worth it for us to help him like this? Bai Yu said angrily as she watched Yi Qinfeng leave on the ship. Yes, just the promise he made just now is worth it for us to do so much for him. Bai Ziqing said with a faint smile. That's right, Qing is right. People, like him, who are blessed with great fortune, are very important to their promises. This good karma will only bring benefits to our Bai clan and no harm. Perhaps he will be the opportunity for our Bai clan to deal with Xingluo Sky City. Bai Hongyun said, Yi Qinfeng, I will be waiting for you at the Bai clan. I hope that when we meet again, you will give me an even bigger surprise. Bai Ziqing's eyes flashed with an unfathomable light as she thought to herself. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 338. Chapter 338, New YORK Breakthrough. Level 6 Mystic Beast Master, Rumble. His voice was like thunder, and his momentum was like a wild horse galloping at the edge of the chaotic ocean. The sea breeze produced a loud rumbling sound, and huge waves that were dozens of meters high were raised. The entire space was like an ancient battlefield, and the terrifying aura made people feel like their insides were being torn apart. Yi Qinfeng stood on the bow of the 10-meter-long ship and welcomed the sharp sea breeze. 3 sword Dao patterns flew out from his body and condensed into a sharp light sword. He slashed down from the void and directly split the chaotic power that was surging towards him. Yi Chen-feng had cut open a gap at the edge of the chaotic ocean. The speedily speeding ship cut through the gap like a sharp sword. It passed through the chaotic ocean and quickly headed for 3 Stars Island. Phew, we should be safe now. After leaving the chaotic ocean, Yi Chen-feng felt relieved. He injected 1,000,000 low-grade soul crystals into the ship's engine room and ordered the sword puppet to guard the ship. He also took out the belongings of Xiao Hai and the other 5. 6 low-grade offensive heaven artifacts, 6 low-grade defensive suits, 23 top-grade earth artifacts, 18,000 high-grade soul crystals, more than 60 million mid-grade soul crystals, 13 top-grade crafting crystals. Xingluo Heavenly City is indeed very strict about the soul incantations and soul skills that they have inherited. The 6 of them don't have a single scroll on them. However, these 13 heaven rank soul pills are quite a haul. Yi Chen-feng discovered 13 heavenly pills that were not inferior to the jade, marrow heavenly pills on Xiaohai and the others. He was pleasantly surprised. In addition to the 13 heaven rank soul elixirs, Yi Chen-feng also found a semi-finished array diagram and a large amount of array refining materials. Yes, the eggs. At the end of the inspection, Yi Chen-feng found dozens of sesame-sized, 5-colored insect eggs in Xie Gusong's spatial ring. He then thought of the mysterious insect eggs he had bought at the Tower of Slaughter and took them all out. I wonder if the Spring of Life can hatch these insect eggs. Yi Chen-feng placed these insect eggs in a white jade box and poured a thin layer of the Spring of Life over it. He then bit his finger and squeezed out a large amount of blood into the Spring of Life. He closed the jade box, sealed it with several array patterns, and stored it in his spatial ring to hatch. Phew! It's time to refine the dragon blood grass and dragon blood fruit and break through to the 6 mystic beast ancestor realm. Yi Chen-feng felt that he could definitely break through to the mystic beast ancestor realm now. He took out the dragon blood grass and dragon blood fruit that contained the power of the dragon blood. However, he didn't immediately consume these 2 natural treasures, which were even more precious than heaven-level soul elixirs. Instead, he quickly set up several restrictive formations in the cabin and took out the true fire furnace. He threw the 2 natural treasures into the true fire furnace to purify the impurities. After the impurities were purified, he would absorb and refine them so that their spirituality wouldn't be wasted. BZZZ, BZZZ. The dragon blood grass and dragon blood fruit quickly melted under the dark abyss extreme fire that was close to the power of the heavenly fire. The dragon blood grass and dragon blood fruit quickly melted and turned into a blood-like spirit liquid. Their color also became redder as the impurities disappeared. A large amount of refreshing fragrance spread out from the true fire furnace. About 6 hours later, the impurities in the 2 great spirit items had completely disappeared, turning into a bright red spirit juice that was like dragon blood. Just by smelling it, one would feel refreshed and their spirit would multiply, making them feel extremely comfortable. What a powerful spirit energy. No wonder it is a spirit item that was born from the dragon blood. Yi Chen-feng was overjoyed when he felt the spirit essence contained in the spirit liquid in the true fire furnace. It was more than 10 times stronger than the heaven rank soul elixir. If he absorbed this spirit liquid, his cultivation speed would definitely increase by leaps and bounds. He could definitely break through to the 6 mystic beast ancestor realm. Yi Chen-feng hugged the true fire furnace to his chest and quickly adjusted his state in preparation to absorb the spirit liquid. Soon, Yi Chen-feng felt that his body had reached its peak state. He opened his mouth and sucked out a small wisp of the spirit liquid. Suddenly, he felt a thick medicinal fragrance fill his mouth. It was like a nectar that was incomparably sweet. He couldn't help but swallow it down. So comfortable. When the spirit liquid that contained a faint heat slid down his throat into his stomach, it immediately released a rich spirit energy that flowed through his limbs and bones. It nourished his body opened his pores, stretched his meridians, and made the cells in his body jump vigorously. It was as wonderful as ascending to immortality. However, this comfortable feeling didn't last for long. Yi Qinfeng's meridians were opened by the spirit energy released by the spirit liquid. His body also began to expand. Waves of tearing pain spread throughout his body. A large amount of dark red blood seeped out from his opened pores. If Yi Qinfeng hadn't cultivated the 6 meridians divine shield to the Great Circle realm, and his body had undergone a qualitative change, he wouldn't have been able to withstand the spirit energy released by the dragon blood. Soul-devouring tactics were fine. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and cleared his mind of distracting thoughts. He quickly operated the soul-devouring tactics and crazily refined the spirit energy in his body to increase his strength. After about half a day, the spirit energy in Yi Qinfeng's body was gradually refined. He sucked in a small mouthful of the spirit liquid and merged it into his body. He continued to cultivate. Time passed day by day. Yi Qinfeng was in a state of emptiness. He forgot about time and space as he cultivated calmly. As the spirit liquid was continuously refined into his body, the soul power in his body increased rapidly. The 2-headed blood dragon king in his mind also became more terrifying. I have already refined 2/3 of the spirit liquid, but I still haven't broken through to the level 6 mystic beast ancestor realm. The difficulty of breaking through is too great. Yi Qinfeng cultivated calmly until the 8th day and successfully refined 2/3 of the spirit liquid. However, the soul power in his body was still not full. If it were other mystic beast sect experts, they would have broken through by more than 2 levels. The difficulty of cultivation was far greater than ordinary people, but once one broke through, the benefits were also extremely obvious. This was also why Yi Qinfeng could kill people of a higher level. It was because his foundation was several times more terrifying than ordinary peerless kings. After about another 4 days, when Yi Qinfeng absorbed the last wisp of dragon blood-like spirit liquid from the true fire furnace into his body, the soul power in his body finally reached overflowing. The 2-headed blood dragon king in his mind also grew to the limit of its realm. Level 6 mystic beast ancestor realm breakthrough. Yi Qinfeng condensed all the soul power in his body and broke through the bottleneck in one go, reaching the level 6 mystic beast ancestor realm. In the next moment, endless dragon roars were released from his body, shaking the restrictions in the cabin violently. A large number of cracks spread on the surface of the restrictions. I've finally broken through. The moment he broke through, Yi Qinfeng opened his tightly closed eyes. 2 lightning-like eyes shot out, and his entire temperament changed again. His every move carried a suffocating pressure, and this kind of pressure could only be produced by a reverse Beast King expert. After breaking through to the level 6 mystic beast ancestor realm, he felt that he could completely crush a level 2 reverse Beast King expert. After transforming into his beast soul form, he could even challenge a level 3 reverse Beast King. Just as Yi Qinfeng was intoxicated by the joy of breaking through, he unexpectedly discovered that a faint dragon power had appeared in his rich blood. Dragon's bloodline. A dragon's bloodline has actually appeared in my body. Sensing the changes in his body, Yi Qinfeng revealed a look of deep surprise. He never thought that after refining the dragon blood grass and dragon blood fruit, a second bloodline would miraculously appear in his body, the dragon's bloodline. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 339. Sword Dao, First Heavenly Layer. I wonder how much my strength will increase after I ignite my dragon bloodline and transform into a beast soul form. Yi Qinfeng was very eager to know how much the dragon bloodline would increase his strength. He quickly left the cabin and went to the bow. Beast soul form. There was no one in the vast ocean, so Yi Qinfeng wasn't afraid of exposing his trump card. He merged with the two-headed Blood Dragon King and transformed into a beast soul form. His powerful soul power undulated, causing dense ripples to appear in the ocean breeze. Dragon bloodline ignite. Yi Qinfeng roared and ignited the newly formed dragon bloodline in his body, increasing his strength to the limit of a rank 2 beast king. Slash! The terrifying dragon bloodline power and 3 sword Dao patterns poured out of his body, quickly fusing into a shocking sword. The sword might was so powerful that even the sky changed color. It slashed toward the azure ocean ahead with a force of 1,000 caddies. Rumble! The rippling ocean couldn't withstand Yi Qinfeng's sword attack and collapsed. The powerful sword might directly tore a bottomless trench several miles in the ocean. The sword intent that didn't dissipate for a long time turned the entire trench into a vacuum. It was very spectacular. Igniting the dragon bloodline has increased my strength by at least 30%. I wonder if refining that dragon egg can increase the density of my dragon bloodline further. As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng took out that extremely precious dragon egg. He wanted to drill a hole in it and absorb the energy to continue cultivating. He wanted to break through to the absolute king realm and increase the intensity of his dragon bloodline. Yi Qinfeng took out a supreme grade earth tier piercer from his spatial ring and poured 5 million gene of force into it before ruthlessly stabbing it into the surface of the dragon egg. Immediately, a powerful rebounding force was produced on the surface of the dragon egg and transmitted into his arm, causing it to become numb. I can't drill it? Yi Qinfeng opened his eyes wide and looked at the dragon egg in shock. He was shocked by the defensive power of its shell. I don't believe that I can't break you. Yi Qinfeng handed the dragon egg to the sword puppet while he took out the gigantic Fault Heavenly Sword. He was going to use the sword's power to break open the eggshell. Sword type Dao pattern 1. 5 million gene of strength break. Yi Qinfeng yelled out. 3 sword Dao patterns and over 1.5 million kilograms of force were injected into the gigantic Fault Heaven Sword. The sword pierced into the surface of the dragon egg in the sword puppet's hand like a hot knife through butter. Buzz! Facing Yi Qinfeng's sword attack, which was powerful enough to kill a peerless king, the surface of the dragon egg once again emitted a powerful rebounding force. Dense water ripples appeared in the space, shaking the speedily sailing ship violently. Not even the titanic Fault Heavenly Sword can break through the defense of this dragon egg. Yi Qinfeng looked at the unscathed dragon egg in disbelief. He never thought that the dragon egg's defense would be so terrifying. Even when he was in his beast soul form and wielded a mid-grade celestial weapon, the titanic Fault Heavenly Sword, he couldn't break through its defense. I don't believe it. Yi Qinfeng didn't give up. He ordered the sword puppet to soar into the sky. 8 Sha Azura Art, 3 Slaughter Halos. In the next moment, 3 Slaughter Halos appear behind him. The white light of Slaughter shot out and boosted his attack power. The 3 sword Dao patterns turned into an endless thunderstorm. The power of Slaughter and 5 million gene of force were injected into the gigantic Fault Heavenly Sword, activating 81 offensive array patterns. 7 Swords of Judgment, Thunder Devour. Raising his strength to the limit, Yi Qinfeng ignited his thin dragon bloodline and executed his strongest move. The violent thunder whirlpool turned into a giant thunder sword that could split the sky and earth. It tore through the air and pierced into the dragon egg in the sword puppet's hand. Rumble! A huge explosion sounded in the sky. The terrifying sound was like the roar of a thunder god, shaking the 9 heavens. The eruption-like energy exploded on the surface of the dragon egg, twisting the space. The terrifying power made people want to kneel down and worship it. It instantly used up the energy of tens of thousands of mid-grade soul crystals in the sword puppet. What? It's still not enough? Could the defense of this dragon egg exceed a mid-grade heaven item? Yi Qinfeng saw that the dragon egg was still intact after receiving his strongest attack and immediately felt a trace of helplessness. Sigh, looks like I can only think of a way to break this dragon egg's defense in the future. Yi Qinfeng sighed helplessly and put the dragon egg into his yin-yang ring. He felt like he was guarding a treasure, but couldn't enter it. Unable to absorb the essence of the dragon egg to reach the absolute king level, Yi Qinfeng took out the low-grade heaven item, Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor, that he obtained from killing Sun Lei. He planned to repair it and increase his defense. I wonder if I can fuse the Black Turtle Shell, 100 Frost Mysterious Iron, 7th Metal Stone, True Firestone, and Stone of Slaughter into the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor. Yi Qinfeng wasn't satisfied with the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor's level. He wanted to fuse a large number of refining treasures to increase its level. Although Yi Qinfeng didn't have much refining experience, fusing with the soul fragment in God Eater's brain gave him a lot of refining experience that many refining masters didn't have. Combining this experience and the dark extreme fire that was close to the heaven fire level, he started to repair the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor bit by bit. Time passed day by day. Under Yi Qinfeng's tireless repair, the Black Turtle Shell fused into the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor and repaired the damage caused by the Primal Chaos energy. In addition to the upgrade of the 100 Cold Mysterious Iron, 7th Metal Stone, True Firestone, and other top-grade refining crystals, and the fusion of nearly 100 defensive patterns, the quality of the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor had been greatly improved. It had really been upgraded to the level of a middle-grade heaven tool. Success. When Yi Qinfeng saw the Heavenly Lightning Battle Armor with the Black Tortoise King's tortoise shell embedded on his chest, he revealed a satisfied smile. With this battle armor, Yi Qinfeng's defense had increased greatly. In addition to the amplification of his dragon bloodline, Yi Qinfeng believed that even a Class 3 Defiant Beast King wouldn't be able to defeat him. After repairing the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor, Yi Qinfeng took out the other low-grade heaven item battle armors. However, because he had limited top-grade refining treasures, Yi Qinfeng only managed to repair 3 low-grade heaven item battle armors in the end. As for the other unrepaired low-grade heaven item battle armors, he planned to sell them at an appropriate time to exchange for what he needed. Sailing in the vast sea was boring, but it was extremely precious to Yi Qinfeng. He removed all distracting thoughts from his mind and took out the sword steel he obtained from killing the blood-slaughtering Sword Monarch. He controlled God Eater's brain to release soul power into the sword steel to understand the sword Dao pattern in the sword steel. Soon enough, the God Eater's brain imprinted one sword Dao pattern in the sword steel under its powerful deduction. In addition to the 9 sword Dao patterns in the 9 dragon steel, there were a total of 10 sword Dao patterns in the God Eater's brain. If Yi Qinfeng could comprehend these 10 sword Dao patterns, he would be able to cultivate his sword Dao to the first heavenly layer, and his attack power would increase by another level. Rumble! Suddenly, a deafening sound of thunder rang out. The thick, dark clouds were like thousands of soldiers and horses rushing over. The sunny sky was covered by dark clouds in an instant, turning the place dark. Soon, bean-sized raindrops began to pour down, and the sea became turbulent. Monstrous waves soared into the sky, slapping against the turbulent sea surface and jolting the speedily moving ship. In this violent storm, Yi Qinfeng, who was sitting on the deck of the ship, was motionless like a boulder. The dense raindrops were crushed by the sword Dao patterns around his body and couldn't stain his clothes at all. Suddenly, Yi Qinfeng opened his eyes. His sharp eyes were filled with crisscrossing sword Dao patterns, and a powerful sword aura soared into the sky. Sword Dao first heavenly layer, slash! Yi Qinfeng soared into the sky, and 10 sword Dao patterns flew out from his body and gathered into a shocking and unparalleled giant sword. He slashed across the void and sliced through all obstacles. The sword slashed open a several dozen mile-long sword scar in the dark clouds. It extended into the distance and didn't dissipate for a long time. The storm that was engulfing the world just now strangely disappeared just like that. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on bookmark at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 340. Heavenly Fire Sect. Are you ready? Success! The power of the first heavenly layer of the sword Dao is truly astonishing. After witnessing the power of the first heavenly layer of the sword Dao, Yi Qinfeng revealed a satisfied smile. He believed that with his attack power, an ordinary third-level Defiant Beast King would not be his match. After comprehending the first heavenly layer of the sword Dao, Yi Qinfeng dove into the sea. He caught several fish and roasted them to fill his stomach. Then he attempted to cultivate the third move of the Seven Sword of Judgment, Waning Moon. However, the Seven Sword of Judgment was a mid-grade Dao skill. It was extremely powerful. Even with the God-Eater brain, Yi Qinfeng found it extremely difficult to cultivate Waning Moon. Time quickly passed. After another half a month, Yi Qinfeng, who had been sailing in the North Sea for 3 months, finally saw a massive island the size of a continent. And this island was Shinyue Island, which was very close to 3-Star Island. Nick Hang, are you okay? Yi Qinfeng stood at the bow of the ship, looking in the direction of 3-Star Island. He couldn't help but think of Yu Nichang's charming face. His lips curled up as he muttered to himself. At this time, Yu Nichang was standing on the fine beach of 3-Star Island. She gazed at the boundless sea, anxiously waiting for Yi Qinfeng to return. It had already been 6 months since there had been any news of Yi Qinfeng. Yu Nichang was filled with worry, and she had never missed a person so intensely before. The more you lost something, the more you understood how precious it was to have it. She was still unable to contact Yi Qinfeng. She was truly afraid that she would lose Yi Qinfeng forever. That unforgettable pain was becoming more and more intense. Qinfeng, please don't let anything happen to you. Yu Nichang tightly bit her wet lips, constantly praying in her heart. She had been praying like this day after day for nearly 6 months. Suddenly, a speeding ship appeared in front of her eyes. When she saw the blurry figure standing at the bow of the ship, her entire body trembled as if she had been struck by lightning. A feeling that came from her soul told her that the blurry figure was the Yi Qinfeng that she had been waiting for. He's back. Qinfeng is finally back. 2 streams of hot tears flowed from the corners of her eyes and streaked across her beautiful face. The moment Yi Qinfeng returned, she cried and then smiled. Yu Nichang saw Yi Qinfeng, and the sharp-eyed Yi Qinfeng also saw her. At the next moment, Yi Qinfeng summoned the golden rock wings and soared into the air, leaving behind a stream of piercing golden light as he flew toward Yu Nichang at a speed that surpassed the speed of light. Qinfeng! Yu Nichang recklessly ran over. The moment Yi Qinfeng landed on the beach, she fiercely threw herself into his arms and tightly hugged his body, afraid that he would leave her. Nichang, I'm back. I've made you worry. Yi Qinfeng gently stroked Yu Nichang's soft, jet-black hair and sensed her slightly trembling body. He bent his head next to her ear and said apologetically, "Don't say anything else. Let me hug you properly for a while." Yu Nichang tightly leaned her head against Yi Qinfeng's chest, feeling his body temperature, and tears uncontrollably flowed down her cheeks. After some time, Yu Nichang's tears dried up. She silently glanced at Yi Qinfeng and reluctantly left Yi Qinfeng's warm embrace. "Nichang, I have a gift for you." Yi Qinfeng looked at Yu Nichang, whose cheeks were slightly red and had an unnatural expression. He smiled and took out the low-grade celestial blood demon sword that he had obtained from killing the blood-slaughtering Sword King and gave it to Yu Nikhang. Low-grade celestial artifact. Yu Nikhang was deeply astonished as she stroked the patterns on the blood demon sword and sensed its power. Even in her clan, it was very difficult for an ordinary peerless king to possess a celestial artifact. Nikhang, aren't you moved? Yi Qinfeng looked at Yu Nichang's excited appearance and smiled. I have an even more precious treasure for you. Yi Qinfeng took out a low-grade celestial artifact, the Ice Spirit Battle Suit, that he had repaired, and gave it to Yu Nikhang. Low-grade celestial artifact, battle suit. Sensing the level of the Ice Spirit Battle Armor, Moon Raymond raised her eyebrows and exclaimed, Yi Qinfeng, what level of expert did you kill to obtain these two celestial artifacts? Yu Nikhang asked in a daze. A person who could possess two celestial artifacts was definitely not an ordinary expert. Let's go. We'll talk as we walk. When we see Yen, we'll give her something. Then we'll return to the North Snow region and take revenge on the Heavenly Fire sect. Yi Qinfeng took the initiative to hold Yu Nichang's soft, white hand. He briefly recounted his encounter in the Tower of Slaughter as they walked towards the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance. Although Yi Qinfeng had concealed a lot of the truth, Yu Nichang's heart was in turmoil when she learned that Yi Qinfeng had killed the kings from the 3rd to the 5th floor of the Tower of Slaughter, passed all the tests of the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus, obtained the title of Sword God, and escaped the pursuit of the King of Slaughter. Qinfeng, you might really be able to become an emperor, Yu Nikhang said with some excitement. Emperor-level powerhouse? That might just be my starting point. Yi Qinfeng smiled and said domineeringly. Yi Qinfeng, who had slowly come into contact with the Heaven Domain, knew that emperors were at the top of the pyramid in the Duohan continent. However, they were nothing in the Heaven Domain. Since he was determined to pursue the Great Tao, the Duohan continent was just his starting point. When Yi Qinfeng and Yu Nikhang arrived at the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance hand in hand, Mo Yian and the others, who had already received the news, were already waiting outside. Seeing the two of them holding hands so intimately, Mo Yian's eyes revealed a trace of absent-mindedness and envy. Qinfeng, you finally returned safely. Mo Yian quickly adjusted her state of mind. Then, she quickly walked up to him and revealed a faint smile. Yuan, let's find a quiet place. I have something for you. Yi Qinfeng looked at Mo Yian, who was wearing a jade-green silk dress. Her figure was tall and slender, and she was radiant under the sunlight. Okay. Mo Yian nodded and brought Yi Qinfeng and Mo Yian to her room. Yuan, remember not to spread the news of me going to the Chaotic Ocean and Slaughter City. Otherwise, I'm afraid it will bring a destructive disaster to your ancient Ink Merchant Alliance. After sitting down, Yi Qinfeng took a sip of the jade green tea that Mo Yian had personally poured for him and warned her seriously. Don't worry, Qinfeng. Only Elder Mei and I know about you going to the Chaotic Ocean. She won't speak carelessly. Mo Yian nodded and assured him, That's good. Yuyan, this is my gift to you. 1 Heaven-class soul core, 5 Earth-class soul cores, 1 top-quality Earth-ranked heart-protecting mirror, 1 top-quality Earth-ranked Frostwood sword, and 1 Heaven-class low-grade soul technique and soul skill. Yi Qinfeng took out a spatial ring that he had prepared beforehand and gave it to Mo Yuyan. Qinfeng, these gifts are too precious. I can't accept them. Hearing Yi Qinfeng's gift, Mo Yian was deeply shocked. Just the value of the heaven-grade soul core alone was enough to bankrupt the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance. Yian, there's no need to be so courteous between us. Develop the ancient Ink Merchant Alliance well. Perhaps one day I'll be able to rely on you. Yi Qinfeng smiled gently and forcefully stuffed the universe ring into her soft hands. Okay. If that day really comes, I won't hesitate to go through water and tread on fire. Amoyan bit her lips and promised in a firm tone. Yi Chinfeng stayed in the ancient ink merchant alliance for 10 days. In these 10 days, he helped Mo Yuyan unblock her meridians and absorb an earth-grade soul core, establishing a good cultivation foundation. He also helped her comprehend a heaven-grade, low-grade soul art and soul skill. After being on the run for 43 months, which was nearly 1,300 days, Yi Chinfeng had broken through to the 6th rank of the profound beast ancestor realm and was now able to face a 3rd rank defiant beast king head-on. He finally set foot on his journey back to the North Snow region. Heavenly Fire Sect, I'm back. Are you ready? Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button below to record this book. You'll be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 341. Yu Nichang's identity. Early in the morning, a red sun slowly rose from the east, rendering the blue sea enchanting and mysterious. A few seagulls flew in the wind, displaying their beautiful dance. Changfeng, what are you thinking about? Yu Nichang, wearing a bright red silk dress, with her jet-black hair fluttering in the wind, exuded an enchanting charm as she slowly walked to Yi Chinfeng's side on the deck. She stood shoulder to shoulder with him and softly asked, I'm thinking about returning home. Yi Chinfeng looked into the distance and slowly said, Oh, right, Nichang, I still have something for you. As he spoke, Yi Chinfeng took out 2 white jade brocade boxes from his spatial ring and handed them to Yu Nichang. This is... Yu Nichang opened the brocade boxes and immediately a refreshing fragrance wafted out. Here are 2 marrow cleansing pellets and 2 heaven rank soul pellets. They are enough to help you break through to the 6th level of the mystic beast ancestor realm and cultivate the marrow refinement realm to the large success stage. Yi Chinfeng said softly. Changfeng, thank you. Holding the 2 white jade brocade boxes, Yu Nichang's heart was filled with gratitude and happiness. What Yi Chinfeng gave her was something her family could never give her. Let's go, Nichang. Let's go back to the cabin. I'll help you refine the marrow cleansing pills and refine your bone marrow. Time passed day by day. While the moon Raymond was refining the marrow cleansing pill and tempering his bone marrow, Yi Chinfeng didn't slack off either. He started to cultivate the 3 high-grade, heaven-class soul skills that he had carefully chosen: the soul-suppressing tablet, the Lion King's roar, and the thunderbolt flash, to increase his foundation. Very quickly, 3 months passed. After 3 months of secluded cultivation, Yu Nichang refined for priceless elixirs and successfully broke through to the 6th level of the Mystic Beast Grandmaster realm. She also cultivated the last level of the 6th Meridian Divine Shield, the Marrow Refining Realm, to the realm of great success. Her physical strength had reached an astonishing strength of 1,200,000 kilograms. On the other hand, Yi Chinfeng had completely grasped all 3 of his high-grade Heaven Rank Soul skills, and had also grasped the 3rd move of his 7 Swords of Judgment, Waning Moon. After a few more days, Yi Chinfeng, who was standing on the deck of the ship, vaguely saw a vast and boundless continent through the gently moving fog on the surface of the sea. A look of pleasant surprise appeared on his face. Yi Chinfeng, who had been chased by the Skyfire sect for nearly 4 years, finally returned to the North Snow County. When the speeding seagoing envoy entered a small harbor not far ahead, Yi Chinfeng suddenly noticed that Yu Nichang's expression was a little strange, so he asked with concern, Nichang, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well? I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Yu Nichang shook her head and squeezed out a trace of a smile as she said with a heavy heart, Are you really okay? Yi Chinfeng asked worriedly. During the 3 months on the ship, although they didn't break through the layer of window paper and become intimate lovers, they occupied the most important position in each other's hearts. I'm really okay. Yu Nikhang returned to her normal state and said with a smile, "It's good that you're okay. Let's go, we'll get off the ship and eat something. We'll have a good rest first." Yi Chinfeng took the initiative to hold Yu Nichang's ice-cold little hand and suggested softly, Yu Nikhang nodded and followed Yi Chinfeng to a small town with a pleasant scenery, surrounded by mountains and rivers, which wasn't very large. "Chinfeng, is this sea breeze city a city of mortals?" After walking through the city gate that was full of moss, Yu Nikhang felt that the people walking on the bluestone road were very weak and asked softly, "If I remember correctly, this sea breeze city belongs to the Zijin kingdom. It's a city of mortals." Yi Chinfeng, who grew up in the Zijin kingdom, was very familiar with the Zijin kingdom. He nodded and said, "This is the first time I've come to a city of mortals. Chinfeng, can you accompany me and take a good look around here?" Looking at the simple and elegant bamboo buildings on both sides of the street, the winding corridors, and the slowly flowing stream, Yu Nikhang immediately fell in love with this place and suggested softly, "Okay." Yi Chinfeng nodded and held Yu Nichang's soft little hand. Like a lover, they intimately strolled around Sea Breeze City, admiring the local customs and tastes of many local delicacies. "Nikhang, that bamboo forest is not bad. Let's go there to have some tea and rest." Yi Chinfeng, who was in a good mood, pointed to a nearby tea house in the bamboo forest and suggested softly, "All right." Yu Nikhang nodded and walked side by side with Yi Chinfeng towards a tea house surrounded by the bamboo forest. As they walked, a jade plaque in Yu Nichang's bosom suddenly trembled and her face changed. In the next instant, Yi Chinfeng's sharp senses detected 4 powerful auras appearing. 2 of them were actually the rare kings of the North Snow region. Just as Yi Chinfeng was wondering why such powerful kings would appear in such a small city of mortals, 2 extremely fast level for heavenly beasts with long tails appeared. "Young miss, we finally found you." 4 old men dressed in black robes with gold edges and emanating thick, demonic aura jumped off from the black wands, appearing in front of the pale-faced Yu Nikhang as they spoke softly. "You guys came so quickly." Yu Nikhang took a deep breath and said bitterly, "Young miss, you've disappeared for almost 4 years, and the family head has been looking for you crazily. And who are you? How dare you? Young Miss's hand is not for you to hold." A tall old man with a black serpent tattoo on his forehead noticed the 2 of them holding hands, and his face sank. A powerful demonic aura emanated from his body, and like an enraged lion, he pounced towards Yi Chinfeng. 6 protectors, stop. Yu Nikhang saw the black-robed old man suddenly take action, and did not hesitate to block in front of Yi Chinfeng, releasing a powerful soul power to disperse the demonic aura. "Rank 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor. Young miss, you've broken through to Rank 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor." Sensing Yu Nichang's strength, the black-robed old man and the others were startled, revealing deep shock. They did not dare to believe that Yu Nikhang had broken through from Rank 6 Heavenly Beast Immortal to Rank 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor in less than 4 years. "If anyone dares to be impudent, don't blame me for being impolite." Yu Nikhang regained her arrogant attitude and coldly warned, "You guys wait for me here, I'll be right back." After speaking, Yu Nikhang took the initiative to grab Yi Chinfeng's arm and brought him to the lush bamboo forest. "Nikhang, are they here to pick you up?" Yi Chinfeng asked softly. I'm leaving. I'm going back to the family." Yu Nikhang looked tenderly at Yi Chinfeng and reluctantly said, "You must take good care of yourself. If there's time, I'll sneak out to look for you." "Nikhang, where did you come from?" Yi Chinfeng hesitated and could not help but ask about her identity. "Changfeng, I can tell you my identity, but you must promise me, before you have the strength of an emperor, don't look for me. Otherwise, you will lose your life." Yu Nikhang gently bit her alluring red lips and solemnly warned, "Nikhang, could it be that you came from a Rank 7 Holy Land?" Yi Chinfeng raised his eyebrows and guessed. "Not a Rank 7, but in rank 8 Holy Land. Yu Nikhang shook her head and said, Rank 8 Holy Land. You're from the Eastern Continent's Yu family. Yi Qinfeng's heart trembled. He never imagined that Yu Nichang's background would be so great. That's right. I do come from the Eastern Continent's Yu family, and I'm the daughter of the current head of the Yu family. Our family cultivates the demonic Tao, and my father and grandfather are very resistant to people from other factions. Qingfeng, promise me, before you have enough strength, don't look for me in the Yu family, otherwise your life will be in danger. Yu Nikhang tightly grabbed Yi Qinfeng's arm and begged him bitterly. All right. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and helplessly agreed. Qingfeng, I'm already used to having you by my side, and I really don't want to part with you. Yu Nikhang took the initiative to hug Yi Qinfeng's body and buried her head in his chest as she spoke reluctantly. Nikhang, be good and wait for me in the Yu family. In 10 years at the latest, I'll bring the betrothal gifts to the Yu family to propose marriage. At that time, no one will be able to stop us from being together. Yi Qinfeng gently stroked her soft, jet-black hair and made a domineering promise. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you forever. After she finished speaking, Yu Nikhang gently tiptoed and wrapped her arms around Yi Qinfeng's neck and kissed Yi Qinfeng fiercely for a long time. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading. You'll be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 342. Killing you like killing a dog, miss. It's getting late. Let's go back. When Yi Qinfeng and Yu Nishang were kissing each other, a cold voice suddenly entered Yu Nishang's ears, urging her in a low voice. Qingfeng, I'm leaving. Take care of yourself. I'll wait for you at the Yu family. Yu Nikhang reluctantly separated from Yi Qinfeng. She looked at him affectionately, trying her best to imprint his appearance in the depths of her mind. Then she hardened her heart and left. Very soon, 2 rapid bird cries rang out. 2 black phoenixes, with a wingspan of over 10 meters, raised terrifying gusts of wind and soared into the sky. Under the terrified gazes of the residents of Sea Breeze City, they flew further and further away until they disappeared into the horizon. Don't hide anymore. Come out. Just as Yu Nichang's group left, Yi Qinfeng's deep eyes looked at a dark corner of the bamboo forest and coldly said, Interesting. I didn't expect you to be able to discover me with your cultivation. A short, black-robed man with 2 vipers tattooed on his arms walked out from a dark corner. He was a level 1 Defiant Beast King, and he was a level 1 Defiant Beast King. He bared his white teeth and said viciously, You're also a member of the Yu family, right? Yi Qinfeng said indifferently as he looked at Xiao Chun with blazing eyes. Brat, I found that you're quite bold. How can a nobody like you touch the princess of my Yu family? The short man walked over with heavy steps and fiercely said, In order to prevent you from harassing the miss in the future, I can only send you to hell in advance. You think you can? Yi Qinfeng snorted and said disdainfully. After breaking through to level 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor, Yi Qinfeng didn't even fear level 3 Defiant Beast Kings, let alone a level 1 Defiant Beast King. Brat, I'll let you know my methods soon. As he spoke, a powerful murderous aura erupted from his body and engulfed Yi Qinfeng in an earth-shattering manner. Kneel for me. Suddenly, the baleful aura engulfing Yi Qinfeng quickly condensed and pressed down on him like a mountain, wanting to force him to his knees. You're too naive. Yi Qinfeng ignored the baleful aura and sneered. As he spoke, a powerful physical strength erupted from Yi Qinfeng's body and directly dispersed the baleful aura released by the short man. And the short man's expression changed. He didn't think that Yi Qinfeng, who was only a level 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor, would have such terrifying physical strength. He was able to easily break through the pressure of the baleful aura he released. Interesting. Looks like I need to be more serious. The short man's expression instantly turned cold. 100-meter-long, brightly colored snake appeared behind him, amplifying his soul power. Is B serious? With your strength, I can kill you as easily as killing a dog. As he spoke, a thunderous sound came from under Yi Qinfeng's feet. His entire body turned into flowing lightning and attacked the short man at a speed that was hard to be seen by the naked eye. You're courting death. As Yi Qinfeng attacked with lightning, the short man's eyes flashed with killing intent. The Qinkuan ring on his finger flashed with purple light, and a dark purple spear appeared in his hand. He stabbed at Yi Qinfeng's chest. Qi. Yi Qinfeng's chest was pierced through by the short man's spear. Not good. After piercing Yi Qinfeng's chest, the short man wasn't happy. Instead, he was shocked because this spear didn't hit Yi Qinfeng, but a fast afterimage. Lion King's roar. Using lightning flash, Yi Qinfeng dodged the short man's spear attack. A powerful sound wave shot out from Yi Qinfeng's mouth, instantly forming a terrifying lion's head. It roared at the short man. Buzz! After being attacked by Yi Qinfeng's Lion King's roar, the careless short man felt his soul tremble. His mind went blank for a moment, and his reaction slowed down. Soul-quelling tablet. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yi Qinfeng roared. A huge hand holding the soul-quelling tablet flew out, bringing with it an unparalleled pressure. It bombarded the short man's body at close range. PFFF. Although the short man was wearing a top-grade Earth-tier battle armor, he still couldn't defend against the soul-quelling tablet's attack. His body took a heavy blow, and a large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth. He was seriously injured. Your strength is only SOSO. Because of you, Nick Hang, Yi Qinfeng didn't kill the short man. Looking at the short man who was spurting blood and retreating, he sneered coldly. Heavenly demon dance art, Demon King's physique. The short man didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to be so difficult to deal with. He was no longer careless and decisively executed the Yu family soul art. Endless demonic aura poured out from his body and dyed the air black. Transform. Seeing the short man's body expanding in an instant, Yi Qinfeng was slightly surprised. No wonder you are a rank 8 sacred ground. Your foundation is indeed terrifying. Go to hell, brat. After transforming into the Demon King's physique, the short man's strength increased tremendously. He roared, and the purple spear in his hand was like a rolling purple dragon, thrusting towards Yi Qinfeng. Sword Dao First Heaven. Fiery dragon destroys the world. The purple spear light tore through the air and attacked. 10 sword Dao patterns flew out from Yi Qinfeng's body and merged into the gigantic Fault Heavenly Sword. They turned into 4 fierce, fiery dragons and clashed with the purple spear light. Boom! 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 For deafening explosions resounded. The purple spear light was directly destroyed by the flame dragon's world annihilation, which was filled with 10 sword Dao patterns. The terrifying remaining power ruthlessly bombarded the short man's body, directly sending him flying and landing heavily on the ground. Sword Dao First Heaven. You actually comprehended the Sword Dao First Heaven. The short man covered his injured chest and struggled to get up from the ground. He looked at Yi Qinfeng as though he was looking at a monster and exclaimed. The supreme grade, Earth-grade battle armor that he was wearing was deformed by the fiery dragon destroys the world. Cracks appeared on the surface of the Demon King's physique. I will count to 3. Disappear from my sight immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for not going easy on you. Yi Qinfeng looked at the short man with cold eyes and warned him coldly. Damn it, don't be so arrogant. I will let you know the true terror of a peerless king tier. The short man was enraged by Yi Qinfeng's words. He roared and activated the power of his bloodline, executing his killer move. Devil Slaying Finger. A large amount of devil light gushed out from the Demon King's physique and formed a pitch-black finger. It crushed the layers of air and pressed towards Yi Qinfeng's chest with immense pressure. Dao skill. Feeling the power of the Dao pattern in the Devil Slaying Finger, Yi Qinfeng's eyes contracted. 10 sword Dao patterns broke out from his body again and turned into extreme cold sword light, clashing with the finger at an extremely fast speed. Boom! Once the two Dao skills made contact, they immediately released a destructive force. The ground in a radius of a few miles was filled with cracks, and the entire bamboo forest was turned into ruins. Not good. When the short man saw that the devil-slaying finger only lasted for 3 breaths of time before it was shattered by the extreme cold sword light, his expression changed drastically. He wanted to dodge. However, at this moment, Yi Qinfeng appeared behind him with a thunder flash. He burst out with 5 million kilograms of force and slammed into the short man's body, pushing him towards the extreme cold sword light. PFFF. After being hit by the extreme cold sword light, the supreme-grade Earth artifact battle armor that the short man was wearing was immediately shattered. He spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground heavily. He had almost lost the ability to fight. Now you can get lost. Yi Qinfeng said coldly as he looked coldly at the short man who was severely injured. You, for the sake of Nick Hang, I can spare you once or twice. But if you still don't know what's good for you, then don't blame me for being merciless. Yi Qinfeng said with killing intent. Fine, fine. You win. Feeling the killing intent from Yi Qinfeng's blood and bones, the short man was terrified. He had a feeling that Yi Qinfeng wasn't trying to scare him. He didn't dare to provoke Yi Qinfeng anymore. He endured the severe injuries on his body and left in a sorry state. Mobile reading website, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 343. Purple Spirit. Not bad. The drizzle was like countless silkworms spitting out silver silk, floating in the air. It was misty and lingering. Sigh. I hope they won't be implicated by me and be persecuted by the Heavenly Fire Sect. After leaving the Sea Breeze City, Yi Qinfeng didn't immediately head to the Heavenly Fire Sect for revenge. Instead, he came to the Purple Gold Imperial City to see how the Yi clan and Chen Daobai, whom he was indebted to, were doing. The Purple Gold Imperial City has developed so quickly these few years. It has actually become so prosperous. Walking on the familiar streets of the Violet Gold Imperial City, looking at the newly built pavilions and courtyards, as well as the scholars and beauties on the streets, Yi Qinfeng felt that the Violet Gold Imperial City shouldn't be affected. He heaved a sigh of relief and headed straight for the Yi clan's old residence. Did something joyous happen in the Yi clan? Arriving outside the Yi clan's old residence, Yi Qinfeng realized that the Yi clan's old residence was filled with a joyous atmosphere, as if something joyous had happened. Hurry up and carry these red silk and lanterns into the residence. Let the maids continue decorating the residence. If we miss the celebration for the eldest miss, the old master will not forgive us. A white-haired old man wearing a white silk robe urged anxiously. Housekeeper Jiang, what do you think the eldest miss will get in the Purple Gold Marshal House's year-end competition? A green-robed servant wiped the sweat off his forehead and asked curiously, with the eldest Miss's talent, she should be able to get into the top 3. The white-robed old man said proudly, Top 3? Doesn't that mean the eldest miss has a high chance of breaking through to the Earth Beast General Realm? The green-robed servant said enviously, The Earth Beast General Realm is nothing. I think the eldest miss can become a heavenly beast immortal expert. Someone added, All right, let's stop talking nonsense. Let's send the purchased items back to the residents first. The white-robed old man urged with a smile, Uncle Jiang. Looking at the white-robed old man giving orders from afar, Yi Chenfeng immediately recognized him as the Yi clan's old housekeeper, Uncle Jiang. Looks like the Heavenly Fire sect hasn't gone crazy enough to take revenge on the mortals. After listening to the conversation between Uncle Jiang and the others, Yi Chenfeng was basically certain that the Yi family had not been implicated and suffered the Heavenly Fire sect's revenge. Violet Spirit is holding a martial arts competition. I wonder where the Violet Gold Martial House is located. Yi Chenfeng muttered to himself. His body flickered and disappeared from the Yi clan's residence like a ghost, heading towards the Heavenly Flame Martial House located in the Violet Cloud Mountains. When Yi Chenfeng arrived at the original location of the Heavenly Flame Martial House, he discovered that the plaque hanging above the entrance of the Martial House had been changed to the Violet Gold Martial House. So the Violet Gold Martial House is the original Heavenly Fire Martial House. The Heavenly Fire sect has left the Violet Gold country. Yi Chenfeng stood outside the Violet Gold Martial House as he watched the invitations enter the Martial House. In a flash, he transformed into a gust of wind and entered the Martial House. Senior Martial Brother Su, did you notice a blurry shadow passing by us? The moment Yi Chenfeng flew into the Violet Gold Martial House, a disciple who was in charge of checking the invitations rubbed his eyes and asked in horror, Don't be so paranoid. How could there be a shadow in broad daylight? The older disciple rolled his eyes and continued with his work. It's so lively. I wonder who is the current Martial House master? Yi Chenfeng entered the Martial House with ease and familiarity. He discovered that the Martial House was filled with people. The spectator stands were also filled with people. Among them, the Yi family's patriarch Yi Qingchuan, the Ji family's patriarch Ji Yanzheng, the Bai family's patriarch Bai Shishan, and other influential figures of the Violet Gold country were sitting on the main stands, drinking tea and discussing something. Senior Martial Brother Lin. Suddenly, a familiar figure appeared in front of Yi Chenfeng. This person was none other than Lin Fuxin, who had entered the true spirit realm with Yi Chenfeng and Fu Yue. Senior Martial Brother Lin wouldn't be the Martial House master, right? Yi Chenfeng smiled faintly as he looked at Lin Fuxin, who was wearing a dark purple silk robe and sitting in the center of the main spectator stand. She was a grade 6 Earth Beast General. All right, everyone quiet down. I will now announce the rewards for this year's examination. Seeing that the stands were filled with people, the tall and sturdy Lin Fuxin slowly stood up and said in a deep voice, This year's Violet Gold Martial House's rewards are much more generous than before. The first place will not only receive a Spirit Level Soul Pill, but also a Supreme Grade Spiritual Weapon. The second place will receive a Spirit Level Soul Pill, and the third place will receive a Supreme Grade Spiritual Weapon. Lin Fuxin announced loudly. Hearing the Violet Gold Martial House's rewards, it caused an uproar in the stands. Almost everyone revealed a look of envy. Damn, the reward for the first place is so generous. Even I am envious. A dark-skinned, burly man said longingly, What's the use of being envious? Even if you were given a chance, would you be able to get first place? His words immediately attracted a lot of rolling eyes. Who do you think will get first place this year? I can't guess who will get first place, but I can guess who has the most support. A tall, scholarly man said with a smile, Who has the most support? The dark-skinned, burly man asked curiously, Are you stupid? The one with the most support is definitely the Yi family's princess, Yi Xiling. I heard that even the emperor has adopted her. I wonder which lucky guy will be able to marry her. Hearing the discussions of the crowd, Yi Chenfeng's lips curled up slightly revealing a faint smile. He never thought that Yi Xiling would become the lover of the masses after not seeing her for so many years. Soon, the Violet Gold Marshall House's year-end examination began. One by one, eager disciples of the Marshall House drew lots and began to compete fiercely. Seeing the disciples of the Marshall House fighting fiercely on the battle stage, Yi Qinfeng couldn't help but think of himself for years ago, thinking of the incomparably cold and elegant Fu Yue. "Senior Fu, I wonder if you're doing well," Yi Qinfeng muttered to himself, equally worried about Fu Yue's safety. As he thought about it, suddenly, a burst of excited cheers pulled him back to reality. Dressed in a bright red martial arts robe, her skin as fair as jade, her features elegant and graceful, her tall figure bathed in a faint golden glow under the rays of the sun, Yi Xiling stepped onto the stage. A 6th-grade beast illusionary master. "Looks like there's a need to raise my powers to purple spirit." Thinking of the help Yi Xiling had given him in the past, Yi Qinfeng decided to help her raise her powers to the level of an Earth Beast General before he left. The moment Yi Xiling made her move, she immediately launched a fierce attack. The sharp shadows of her sword interweaved to form an airtight sword wind, forcing her opponent to retreat repeatedly. In less than 10 breaths, Yi Xiling's opponent had lost the battle. "I told you Yi Xiling was the most powerful. My goddess would definitely take first place," a young man said excitedly, his eyes filled with infatuation. Although Yi Xiling's powers are not bad, but it's almost impossible for her to take first place. Even getting into the top 3 would require a certain amount of luck. Yi Qinfeng said from within the crowd, "Damn it, where did this wild brat come from? How dare he doubt Goddess Purple Spirit's powers and speak ill of her? Do you believe we'll tear your mouth off?" Hearing Yi Qinfeng's insistence on Yi Xiling's powers in front of everyone, Yi Xiling's supporters were immediately displeased, and they glared at him angrily, warning him fiercely. "I never thought that Purple Spirit's powers would be so great." Seeing the ferocious gazes all around him, Yi Qinfeng laughed bitterly and did not say another word. The Violet Gold Marshall House's year-end examinations were in full swing, and very quickly, the top 3 were decided. Yi Xiling had really managed to break into the top 3 with her exceptional performance. But her 2 opponents were both highly skilled Earth Beast Generals. In the end, because Yi Xiling's powers were not up to par, she lost 2 matches in a row and ended up in 3rd place, causing many people to feel pity for her. Just as the slightly pale-faced Yi Xiling leapt off the battle stage, a familiar voice sounded in her ears. "Purple Spirit, not bad. I give you 9 points. Mobile reading website. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support." Chapter 344. Bestowing Treasures, What a Familiar Voice. Could it be him? "He's back," Yi Qinfeng's voice echoed in Yi Xiling's ears. Yi Xiling was stunned. Her beautiful eyes widened and her heartbeat suddenly accelerated. She looked around and excitedly searched for Yi Qinfeng. "What's wrong? What's wrong with my goddess? Who is she looking for? Her face is red from excitement. Could it be her sweetheart? Our goddess has a sweetheart? My heart is broken." Seeing Yi Xiling's strange actions, the entire viewing platform became noisy. Everyone was discussing spiritedly. Suddenly, Yi Xiling saw a young man in a white robe. His body was as straight as a steel spear. His eyes were as deep as the sea, and his delicate face had a faint smile. Her pupils shrank as she ran over excitedly. Following the direction, Yi Xiling ran in. Lin Fuxin, Yi Qingchuan, and the rest also noticed Yi Qinfeng and stood up one after another. They never expected that Yi Qinfeng, who had disappeared for nearly 4 years after being hunted down by the Skyfire sect, would return. Xiling, I didn't expect that after not seeing you for 4 years, you'd become even more beautiful. You've become a lover of the masses. Yi Qinfeng smiled and said, half-jokingly as he looked at Yi Xiling, who had beautiful curves and limpid eyes as she dashed over. Go to hell. Yi Xiling rolled her eyes at him and asked excitedly, Qingfeng, when did you come back? I just came back not long ago. I heard that you were competing, so I came to see you. Yi Qinfeng smiled. As he spoke, Lin Fuxin, Yi Qingchuan, and the rest quickly walked over and surrounded Yi Qinfeng, exchanging pleasantries. Damn, who is that person? He seems to be very awesome. Yi Qinfeng. Could he be the former #1 on the Sky Fire Marshal ranking, the one who made history, Yi Qinfeng? #1 on the Sky Fire Marshal ranking. Doesn't that mean he's even more powerful than Manorhead Lin? Nonsense, he's much more powerful. Looking at Yi Qinfeng, who was surrounded by Lin Fuxin and the others, the entire arena was in an uproar. Yi Qinfeng became the absolute focus of discussion. Qingfeng, where have you been all these years? We heard that you were being hunted down by the Heavenly Fire Sect. We were worried to death. The group arrived at the Violet Gold Martial Institution's main hall. Lin Fuxin personally poured a cup of fragrant tea for Yi Qinfeng and asked, I was hunted down by the experts of the Heavenly Fire Sect and had no choice but to train overseas for a few years. Yi Qinfeng explained briefly, That's right, Senior Brother Lin. Why didn't the Heavenly Fire Sect take revenge on you all? Why did they leave the Zijin Kingdom instead? Sigh, with the Skyfire Sect's vengeful nature, how could they not take revenge on us? However, at the most crucial moment, a very powerful woman came to the Forbidden Imperial City and intimidated the Sky Fire Sect's experts. She ordered all of them to leave the Zijin Kingdom, which saved us. Lin Fuxin sighed softly and told him everything that had happened. Could it be Sister Piaoling? She was the one who intimidated the Heavenly Fire Sect. Thinking of the people he knew, only Xue Piaoling had the ability to intimidate the Heavenly Fire Sect. Yi Qinfeng guessed the identity of the person who saved the Zijin Kingdom. That's right, Senior Brother Lin. Where is the palace, Lord Qian? Is he all right? Yi Qinfeng was very concerned about Qian Daobai's situation and asked. The palace, Lord Qian, followed the Heavenly Fire Marshal House and left the Zijin Kingdom. I don't know his current situation. Lin Fuxin shook his head and said, However, when the Heavenly Fire Sect took revenge on us, the palace Lord Qian tried his best to stop them. I'm afraid his situation is not good. Looks like I have to hurry to the Heavenly Fire Sect. Yi Qinfeng's eyes flashed as he muttered to himself. Qingfeng, don't put yourself in danger again. After a few years of development, the Heavenly Fire Sect's overall strength has become stronger. It has even surpassed the Fengyan Valley and has become the #1 sect in the North Snow region. Lin Fuxin did not know Yi Qinfeng's true strength and kindly reminded him, Don't worry, Senior Brother Lin. The Heavenly Fire Sect will be destroyed. Yi Qinfeng's lips curled up slightly, revealing a trace of arrogance. His words were full of confidence in his strength. Qingfeng, what realm have you cultivated during this overseas training? Lin Fuxin asked curiously when she saw that Yi Qinfeng did not care about the overlord of the North Snow region, the Heavenly Fire Sect. Not long ago, I broke through to the level 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor Realm. Yi Qinfeng did not hide his cultivation realm and said frankly, What? Level 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor Realm. Knowing Yi Qinfeng's cultivation level, everyone present was stunned. They were all stupefied on the spot. The Heavenly Beast Immortal Realm was already difficult to reach in the eyes of Lin Fuxin and the rest. Level 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor Realm was even more unattainable in their eyes. It was like a legend. If they knew that Yi Qinfeng was not a simple Mystic Beast Ancestor Realm expert and that he could kill ordinary absolute kings like killing chickens, they would definitely be dumbfounded. Level 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor Realm. If the Heavenly Fire sect knew about your current strength, they would definitely regret it. Lin Fuxin said with a smile. She was no longer worried about Yi Qinfeng's safety. When Ji Yanzheng and Yi Qingchuan learned of Yi Qinfeng's strength, they looked at each other and saw the regret in each other's eyes. If they could tie Yi Qinfeng to their families, they had no doubt that their families would definitely be able to transcend the boundaries of mortals and become a true sect. They would also be able to obtain unimaginable benefits. But it was too late for regrets. They could only blame themselves for having poor judgment. By the way, I have returned this time with gifts for all of you. As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng took out 4 golden and heavy Qinkuan bags and handed them to Lin Fuxin, Yi Qingchuan, Ji Yanzheng, and Bai Shishan. In each of these 4 Qinkuan bags, there are 100 supreme-grade spirit weapons, more than 20 earth-grade spirit weapons, 30 spirit-grade spirit elixirs, 10 earth-grade spirit elixirs, and a set of high-grade earth-grade soul arts and soul skills, Yi Qinfeng said slowly. Qingfeng, did you rob a sect's treasure vault? After receiving the heavy Qinkuan bags, Lin Fuxin and the others felt a huge wave in their hearts. They felt that even the Heavenly Fire sect couldn't take out so many spirit treasures. You can say so. Yi Qinfeng smiled and said vaguely, By the way, Qingfeng, do you know how Qingxue and Xia are doing? I miss you very much. Ji Yanjing asked. Don't worry, Patriarch Ji. Qingxue and the others are cultivating in the Misty Mountain. The Misty Mountain is the #1 sect in the Northern Spirit region. Its strength is hundreds of times stronger than the Heavenly Fire sect. I plan to wait for the Heavenly Fire sect's matter to be settled before I go look for them. If there is a chance, I will ask them to come back and visit you. Yi Qinfeng said softly. Okay, I'll leave everything to you. After knowing that the 2 girls were cultivating in the #1 sect in the Northern Spirit region, Ji Yanzheng was relieved and prayed that Yi Qinfeng would be together with his granddaughter. Yi Qinfeng stayed in the Yi family for 3 days. In these 3 days, he'd helped Yi Xiling absorb a spirit-grade soul pill and an earth-grade soul pill, establishing a good foundation for her cultivation. He'd also taught Yi Xiling a high-grade earth-grade soul mantra, raising her to a 2nd rank earth-grade beast general. During this time, the king of Zijin received news of Yi Qinfeng's return and personally came to visit the Yi family. He also gave Yi Qinfeng a generous amount of wealth and land, but Yi Qinfeng tactfully rejected him. Xiling, senior brother Lin, Patriarch Yi, take care of yourselves. I'll leave now. When I have time, I will bring Qingxue and Xia back to visit you. 3 days later, Yi Qinfeng bid farewell to everyone and summoned the golden rock wings. Under the dumbfounded gazes of everyone, he flew out of the forbidden imperial city and headed to the Heavenly Fire sect alone to take revenge. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 345. I'm sorry, you won't get the chance. The Heavenly Fire sect was located in the Northern Spirit mountain range. It was next to an active volcano that spewed out hot flames all year round. It was one of the famous cultivation holy lands in the Northern Snow region. Early in the morning, when the sun had just risen, dozens of enormous flying spirit beasts flapped their huge wings and flew into the Heavenly Fire School, which was surrounded by immortal mountains, clouds, and mist, and filled with multicolored light. These flying spirit beasts included wind cloud valleys, clear wind doves, thunderbird mountains, golden eagles, and some of the flying spirit beasts raised by 2nd-rank sects in the North Snow County. All the major sects of the Northern Snow County had gathered at the Heavenly Fire sect for the Heavenly Fire sect to hold the Northern Snow Grand Meet. Humph, This Heavenly Fire sect really thinks of itself as the #1 sect in the northern Snow County. A white-haired old man from Storm Valley snorted coldly. He was clad in a Nebula Taoist robe and was dissatisfied with the fact that the Heavenly Fire sect had announced to the North Snow County that they were holding a grand meeting in the name of North Snow without permission. After all, Storm Valley had always been the overlord of North Snow County. Don't worry, Great Elder. When the competition starts later, this disciple will definitely humiliate the Heavenly Fire sect's disciples and let them know who is the real overlord of the northern Snow County. A young man wearing a dark blue Taoist robe with a snakeskin sword hanging on his back said arrogantly as he walked. This blue-robed man was the Storm Valley's once-in-a-century genius, Yun Zongkong, who had broken through to the mystic beast ancestor realm at the age of 28. Well, Zongkong, if you can win the title of the #1 expert of the younger generation in this grand meeting and suppress the arrogance of the Heavenly Fire sect, I will reward you with the Tiger Soul Earth Spirit Pill that my Storm Valley has collected for decades. The Great Elder of the Storm Valley, Feng Wuxing, nodded and said, "Thank you, Great Elder." Yun Zongkong had been drooling over the Tiger Soul Earthly Spirit Pellet for a long time. When he heard Feng Wuxing's promise, he was overjoyed. It was as if the Tiger Soul Earthly Spirit Pellet was already in his pocket. As time passed, the important figures of the major sects of the northern Snow County arrived one after another. The Northern Snow Grand Meet organized by the Heavenly Fire sect had begun. Although Storm Valley and Thunderbird Mountain were full of enmity towards the Heavenly Fire sect, they did not show it in public. They were all prepared to ruthlessly suppress the Heavenly Fire sect's disciples and humiliate the Heavenly Fire sect during the competition. Welcome to the Heavenly Fire sect for the North Snow Grand Meet. All the important figures of the various sects had basically arrived. The Heavenly Fire sect master, Huyen, appeared in the noisy Heavenly Fire hall wearing a flame-patterned robe. He arrogantly walked to the main seat and spoke in a deep voice. "Sect Master Hua, may I know why your Heavenly Fire sect suddenly decided to hold this meeting?" Luo He, the Grand Elder of Thunderbird Mountain, took a sip of the green leaf spirit tea that exuded traces of spirit energy and asked, "Our Heavenly Fire sect is holding the North Snow Grand Meet for the future development of the North Snow County and for the benefit of all sects," Huyen said with a smile. "I would like to hear the details." Feng Wuxing said with a fake smile as he played with the teacup in his hand. "Our North Snow County strength in the northern spiritual region is too weak. In order to increase the overall strength of our North Snow County, our Heavenly Fire sect has discussed and decided to establish a North Snow Alliance. We invite all of you to join the alliance and integrate our resources to develop together and strengthen the overall strength of our North Snow County," Huyen said slowly. His voice revealed an extremely strong ambition. Hearing Huyen's words, the entire Heavenly Fire Hall became silent. The faces of the people from Storm Valley and Thunderbird Mountain turned gloomy. They never thought that Huyen's appetite would be so big that he would want to unify the North Snow County. When the entire hall fell into a short silence, some of the second-grade sects that had secretly reached an agreement with the Heavenly Fire sect expressed their willingness to join the alliance. "Sect Master Hua, it's not impossible for my Storm Valley to join the alliance, but I wonder who will be the leader of the alliance." Feng Wuxing's eyes revealed a sharp light as he asked in a gloomy voice, "That's right, my Thunderbird Mountain also wants to know who will be the leader of the alliance." Luo he asked with an ugly expression, "We are all old. An alliance will be handed over to the younger generation sooner or later. Therefore, I suggest that we choose a candidate leader from the younger generation first, and then decide on the leader in order to complete the succession of the sect in the future," Huyen said cunningly. According to what alliance leader was said, which sect's young disciple will be able to become a candidate for the position of alliance leader, and the alliance leader will also be born from that sect. Feng Wuxing's lips curled up slightly as he slowly asked, "That's right, that's what I meant. I wonder if anyone has any opinions?" Huo Yan nodded and said, "This proposal is fair. My Storm Valley has no objections." Feng Wuxing pondered for a moment, then nodded and said, "Thunderbird Mountain also agrees." Luo He and the people from Thunderbird Mountain discussed for a moment and finally agreed. "Since no one has any objections, let's go to the arena and compete among the younger generation," Huyen said with a faint smile. "Zonkong, you can only win this battle, not lose. If you can defeat everyone and become the leader of the alliance, I will agree to any request you have in the future." Looking at Huyen's calm face, Feng Wuxing suddenly felt a trace of uneasiness. He lowered his voice and whispered into Yun Zonkong's ears as he promised, "Don't worry, Great Elder. Zonkong will not let you down." Yun Zonkong clenched his fists tightly and promised solemnly, "Emoku, this mad demon fruit is for you. Eat it at a critical moment, and it can instantly raise your strength by 1 level." Luo He quietly stuffed a pitch-black fruit into the hands of Thunderbird Mountain's great disciple, Shurimoku, and instructed him, "Rest assured, Great Elder, the title of the #1 genius will definitely be mine." Shurimoku put the fruit into his spatial bag and nodded as he promised. "A group of naive guys. Do you really think you can take the position of the Alliance leader for my Heavenly Fire sect?" Huo Yan revealed a trace of an undetectable sneer as he muttered in his heart, "Wu Hai, Stone Piercer, you too will represent my Heavenly Fire sect to challenge the other geniuses." When they arrived at the martial arts arena, Huyen immediately pointed out 2 young disciples of the Heavenly Fire sect who had cold expressions and sharp eyes. They leaped onto a spacious martial arts arena and waited to spar with each other. A first-grade mystic beast sect. When did such a powerful disciple appear in the Heavenly Fire sect? Feeling the strength of Jian Wu Hai, Stone Piercer, and Feng Wuxing, Luo He and the others' faces instantly became gloomy. They felt like they had fallen into a trap. "Who wants to fight?" An ear-piercing sword hum echoed as Jian Wu Hai pulled out a pitch-black, 6-foot-long sword. He pointed at Storm Valley's side and spoke arrogantly, "Let me have a go at you." With a gloomy face, Yun Zonkong leaped into the air like a sword ray and landed on the arena. He held his snakeskin sword and fought fiercely with Jian Wu Hai. While Yun Zonkong and Jian Wu Hai were fighting fiercely, Thunderbird Mountain's great disciple, Shurimoku, also jumped onto the arena. He held a heavy hammer that flickered with lightning as he launched a fierce attack on the burly Stone Piercer. So powerful, worthy of being a peerless genius nurtured by a 3rd-grade sect. His strength actually surpassed the older generation. So terrifying. Yeah, especially that Jian Wu Hai. He actually comprehended the sword force that swordsmen dream of. His attack power has reached the level of a 2nd-grade mystic beast sect. The Heavenly Fire sect's foundation is so deep. Seeing the fierce battle on the arena, the spectators all sighed with emotion. Feng Wuxing and Luo He's expressions became more and more unsightly. As time passed, Yun Zonkong and Shurimoku were completely suppressed by Jian Wu Hai and Jian Wu Hai's fierce attacks and fell into a passive state. "It's over." An incomparably sharp sword ray flashed past. Jian Wu Hai had fused the power of his sword into his long sword. With one stab, he broke through Yun Zonkong's defense and sent him flying out of the arena, losing the battle. Seeing Yun Zonkong lose so thoroughly, Shurimoku steeled his heart and ate the mad demon fruit in his spatial pouch, making a final gamble. Scorching Sun Fist. The instant Shurimoku swallowed the demonic mad fruit, the Flint Piercer's entire body lit up with flames. He unleashed a powerful killing move. An explosive fireball-like fist shot out, heavily smashing into Shurimoku's chest, sending him flying. He heavily crashed into the martial stage and fainted. Lost all of them. Seeing Yun Zongkong and Shi Mo Ku fall out of the arena and lose the battle, Feng Wuxing and Luo He's eyes widened in shock. Huiyan, you win! Feng Wuxing suppressed the anger in his heart and ordered someone to help the heavily injured Feng Wuxing up. He coldly said, "Let's go. Go. It won't be too late to go after you all join the alliance." Huiyan said maliciously. "Huiyan, I'll tell you clearly that my Storm Valley will not join this alliance. My Thunderbird Mountain will not join either," Luo he added. "Sigh, I didn't expect the two of you to go back on your words and not keep your promise. How disappointing." Huiyan sighed softly and said, "But it's not up to you." As he spoke, a fiery red figure appeared. The temperature of the entire arena instantly rose. "Whoever doesn't join the alliance, I will destroy them." Hua Ling, who had forcefully fused with the fire heart spiritual flame, appeared with heavy steps. His terrifying aura shocked everyone present. This aura, a level 6 mystic beast ancestor. Feng Wuxing and Luo He's faces changed when they felt the terrifying aura from Hua Ling. They didn't expect Hua Ling's strength to reach such a level in just 4 years. They were powerless against him. The Supreme Elder is the leader of the alliance. Does anyone have any objections? Hua Yan looked at the pale-faced Feng Wuxing, Luo He, and the rest and asked arrogantly. After witnessing the strength of the Sky Fire sect's younger generation and Hua Ling's terrifying strength, the hearts of the various experts were shaken. Even Feng Wuxing and Luo He were shocked and lost their wits. "Sorry, I don't think he can be the leader of the alliance." Just as the atmosphere in the arena was so oppressive that it was terrifying, a bone-chilling voice suddenly sounded. In the next moment, Yi Chen Feng, who was wearing a long white robe and had a body as straight as a steel spear, walked over step by step with his hands behind his back. He had a pair of sharp eyes under his sword-like eyebrows. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record your reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 346. What was a genius? Yi Chen Feng. Seeing the arrogant figure that suddenly appeared, esteemed fire spirit, Huiyan, and the rest were all stunned. Immediately after, several powerful auras swept towards him and locked onto him, fearing that he would run away. Swish! Swish! Jian Wuhai, who had just obtained a complete victory, suddenly launched a fierce attack at Yi Chen Feng. He wanted to capture him and make a great contribution to the Heavenly Fire Sect. However, when they got close to Yi Chen Feng, a huge murderous aura gushed out of Yi Chen Feng's body like a tide and pressed down on them. The murderous aura was so strong that the entire arena became oppressive and cold. Many disciples who were not strong enough were so scared that they were short of breath. Their faces were pale as they fell to the ground. "Kneel!" Yi Chen Feng shouted. His command was like a muffled thunder that exploded in Jian Wuhai and Huiyan's ears. The powerful voice shook their souls and made their legs bend uncontrollably. The two of them, Jian Wuhai and Flint Piercer, who had just defeated Stormcloud Valley's #1 genius of Thunderbird Mountain and the most famous of them, could not withstand Yi Chen Feng's killing chi and knelt on the ground like dogs. This aura, a level 6 mystic beast ancestor. Sensing Yi Chen Feng's aura, venerable fire spirit, who had forcefully fused with the fire heart spirit flame when he was heavily injured and raised his cultivation to a level 6 mystic beast ancestor, felt a strong sense of unease in his heart. He could not imagine that Yi Chen Feng, who had fled overseas after being hunted down by him, could cultivate to a level 6 mystic beast ancestor in just 4 years. He was a complete threat to him. The scene of Yi Chen Feng crushing Jian Wuhai and Huiyan's calmness also shocked the experts of the Heavenly Fire Sect. They did not dare to act rashly. "Why? Shouldn't you be happy to see me? Why do you all look so sad?" Yi Chen Feng asked as he looked at the gloomy expressions of esteemed fire spirit and the others. His lips curled up slightly as he revealed a prideful smile. Yi Qinfeng, don't be so arrogant. Today, I will make sure you don't leave this place alive. With that said, Abbot Fire Spirit took out a compass and activated the Heavenly Fire Sect's protective array. A large number of array runes filled the void, enveloping the entire Heavenly Fire Sect. Ha ha ha! Huiling, do you really think that you are invincible after devouring the Fire Heart Spirit Flame? Yi Qinfeng laughed loudly and said arrogantly, a frog at the bottom of a well like you can only show off in the Heavenly Fire Sect. Heavens, who is that young man? What an arrogant tone. That's right, challenging the entire Heavenly Fire Sect single-handedly. This person is too bold. Humph, you don't even know him? Haven't you heard that 4 years ago, the entire Heavenly Fire Sect mobilized to capture a young man but failed in the end? If my guess is correct, that young man is him. What? Could it be that he only used 4 years to have the strength to face the Heavenly Fire Sect head-on? When did our North Snow County have such a monster? The people who were hiding in the distance discussed animatedly. However, Feng Wuxing, Luo He, and the rest showed gloating smiles. They did not expect such a turn of events when they were in the most danger. Yi Qinfeng, I will soon let you know who is the frog at the bottom of the well. A murderous intent flashed in Huiling's eyes. 2 high-grade, earth-level, purple-green, long swords appeared in his hands. When he merged with his spiritual beast and greatly increased his strength, endless flame energy gushed out of his body. A powerful wave of fire rose behind him. What a terrifying aura! Esteemed fire spirits, strength has reached such a level. Feng Wuxing, Luo He, and the rest were shocked when they felt esteemed fire spirits' soaring strength. Such strength could definitely be called the #1 person in the North Snow County. Supreme Elder, kill this little bastard. Jian Wuhai, who could not withstand Yi Qinfeng's murderous aura and had humiliated himself by kneeling on the ground, got up in a sorry state. He looked at Yi Qinfeng with fire in his eyes. He wanted to cut him into pieces. Get lost! Yi Qinfeng's pupils shrank. A terrifying sound wave erupted from his mouth, bombarding Jian Wuhai and Jian Wuhai like a stormy sea. Poof! Poof! Jian Wuhai and Jian Wuhai felt a pain in their chests when they endured the sound wave attack released by Yi Qinfeng. A large amount of blood spurted out uncontrollably. Their bodies were like kites with a broken string, drawing 2 beautiful arcs in the air before they fell heavily to the ground. With one roar, the 2 top geniuses of the Heavenly Fire Sect were seriously injured. Everyone was shocked when they saw this scene. Terrifying, too terrifying. Yun Zongkong and Shi Moku, who had just lost the match and were unwilling to accept it, were completely stunned. They never thought that their talent and strength, which were the best in the sect, would be a joke in front of Yi Qinfeng. Come at me together. After severely injuring Jian Wuhai and Jian Wuhai with one roar, Yi Qinfeng extended a finger and pointed at esteemed fire spirit and the rest, who had a gloomy expression. He spoke in an overbearing manner. I alone am enough to kill you. Esteemed fire spirit was completely enraged by Yi Qinfeng's arrogance. Billowing waves of fire surged into the superior grade earth weapon, purple-green dual swords. 2 extremely sharp sword radiances intersected and slashed at Yi Qinfeng. Yin and Yang sword. Esteemed fire spirit used his killer move right away. The power of Yin and Yang complemented each other, increasing the attack power of the 2 sword radiances invisibly. Collapsing cloud palm. Yi Qinfeng suddenly took a step forward and shattered the hard ground. 1,500,000 gene of force shot out and condensed into an extremely compressed palm radiance. It carried a powerful destructive force and easily shattered the Yin and Yang sword radiances. It heavily imprinted itself on the purple-green dual swords that pierced through the void. Kacha! The 2 treasures of the Heavenly Fire Sect, the 2 superior great earth weapons, could not withstand the attack of 1,500,000 gene of force and directly shattered. The powerful palm energy surged into esteemed fire spirit's arms through the swords, causing his skin and flesh to split open. His bones were exposed, and a large amount of blood splattered all over the ground. What? The purple-green dual swords broke. Seeing the superior-grade earth weapon, purple-green dual swords, being shattered by Yi Qinfeng's palm, everyone present fell into a daze. They did not dare to imagine what they had just seen. Yi Qinfeng's strength had already exceeded their imagination. Huayan, who was still in high spirits and having a beautiful dream, was now filled with despair. You, how do you have so much strength? Esteemed fire spirit, whose arms were almost broken, was terrified. He did not think that the difference in strength between him and Yi Qinfeng, who were both level 6 Xian Beast Grandmasters, would be so great. I told you, you are just a frog at the bottom of a well. With your strength, you can only show off in the North Snow County. Once you leave the North Snow County, you are nothing. Yi Qinfeng sneered and mocked with disdain. Yi Qinfeng, I will definitely take your life. Esteemed fire spirit could not accept the fact that he had failed. He also could not accept that the plan he had planned for so long had gone down the drain. With a roar, he burned all the qi and blood in his body to make a final gamble. Kill robbery. Esteemed fire spirit held the broken purple-green dual swords and used his strongest move. The terrifying kill robbery sword was like a giant axe that could split the sky. It tore through the air and ferociously slashed towards Yi Qinfeng. Facing esteemed fire spirit's strongest attack, Yi Qinfeng did not dodge. He stood still and allowed the kill robbery sword to slash towards him. Seeing that Yi Qinfeng was about to be slashed in half by the kill robbery sword, he suddenly reached out his right hand. 150,000 kilograms of strength instantly shot out from his palm and shattered the kill robbery sword. It also shattered the broken purple-green dual swords. Fire Spirit Flame, attack! The moment the purple-green dual sword shattered, the Fire Spirit Flame rushed out of esteemed Fire Spirit's body like a dragon. It burned towards Yi Qinfeng and dealt a fatal blow. Just as the Fire Heart Spirit Flame touched Yi Qinfeng's body, a thick layer of ice suddenly formed on the surface of the flame dragon that was hot enough to melt a mystic beast sex expert. It was instantly frozen. This strange scene shocked everyone present. They stood there dumbfounded as their minds went blank. Mobile reading site. Book address. In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click bookmark at the bottom to record this reading. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 347. From today onwards, the Heavenly Fire Sect was no more. Heavens, am I blind? One of the heaven and earth spiritual flames, the Fire Heart Spirit Flame, has been frozen. What kind of power is this? It can even freeze the heaven and earth spiritual flames. The Heavenly Fire Sect is finished. This Yi Qinfeng is unbeatable. Witnessing this scene, a fear that came from the deepest part of their soul spread throughout the experts of the various large sections. It made them shudder from the bottom of their hearts. Chaos Divine would devour the Fire Heart Spirit Flame. After releasing the ancient cold ice to forcefully freeze the Fire Heart Spirit Flame, Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the Chaos Divine to devour the Fire Heart Spirit Flame in exalted Fire Spirit's body. Swish, 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 countless strands of green light broke out of Yi Qinfeng's body. Before exalted Fire Spirit could react, they drilled into his body and forcefully devoured the Fire Heart Spirit Flame that was suppressed by the ancient cold ice. In less than 3 breaths, the defenseless Fire Heart Spirit Flame was devoured by the Chaos Divine Wood's green roots and disappeared from exalted Fire Spirit's body. No, after losing the Fire Heart Spirit Flame, Exalted Fire Spirit let out a roar of despair. He could not believe that the fire heart spirit flame that had merged with him was so easily snatched away by Yi Qinfeng. Give me the fire heart spirit flame. The severely injured, exalted fire spirit roared. He was like an enraged lion as he attacked Yi Qinfeng in a frenzy. Pa! The crisp sound of a slap rang out. Yi Qinfeng raised his right hand and slapped the face of the fire spirit sage, who was close to him. The slap sent the fire spirit sage flying, and several of his teeth fell out. It's over. It's all over. Seeing the fire heart spirit flame being devoured by Yi Qinfeng and the strongest person in the heavenly fire sect, exalted fire spirit being sent flying with a slap, Huyen felt like he had fallen from the clouds to hell. The ambition hidden in his heart was completely shattered. He should have been a disciple of my heavenly fire sect. Huyen, who was in a daze, suddenly thought that if it weren't for the conflict between Yi Qinfeng and Yi Qinfeng, and if it weren't for his greed for the great opportunity that Yi Qinfeng had obtained in the true spirit realm, Yi Qinfeng would most likely have become a disciple of the heavenly fire sect. With the talent he had displayed, Huyen had no doubt that the heavenly fire sect would become a rank 4 or even rank 5 sect because of him. They would step out of the barren North Snow County and into the vast soul-fighting continent. However, all of this had been ruined by the Yu family and his own greed. If Huyen had another chance to choose, he wouldn't hesitate to abandon the Yu family and support Yi Qinfeng. Don't waste any more time. Come at me together. After sending esteemed Hua Ling flying with a slap, Yi Qinfeng stared coldly at the pale-faced Huyen and the others. Yi Qinfeng, so it's all my heavenly fire sect's fault. I don't know what it takes for you to forgive us. As long as you say it, my heavenly fire sect will definitely satisfy you. The much older Huyen gave in. He lowered his noble head and asked in humiliation, facing the invincible Yi Qinfeng. Huyen knew that only by appeasing his anger could the heavenly fire sect be saved. My request is very simple. The heavenly fire sect will be destroyed and you will all die, Yi Qinfeng said without a trace of emotion. Yi Qinfeng never showed mercy to his enemies. If he hadn't been so lucky back then, he would have died in the heavenly fire sect's pursuit. Yi Qinfeng, are you really going to kill us all? Huyen gritted his teeth and said, If you are willing to let us go, I will give you the heavenly fire sect. Is the heavenly fire sect that attractive? Yi Qinfeng snorted and said, I don't mind telling you that I don't fancy the heavenly fire sect. You, don't beg him. Let's fight it out with him. Esteemed Hualing, whose cheeks were sunken in, got up from the ground and said while panting, Fight it out? Will it work? Facing Yi Qinfeng's almost invincible strength, Huyen knew that he would be the one to die in the end. Stop! All of you, stop! Just as Huyen and the others fell into deep fear and didn't dare to make a move, a loud roar was heard. The hall master of the sword hall, Jian Yuan, who hadn't shown himself all this time, appeared with the gray-skinned, dispirited, and skinny Qian Daobai. Hall Master Qian, seeing Qian Daobai, who had helped him many times, being tortured to the brink of death by the heavenly fire sect, Jian Yuan's murderous aura exploded from his body. It filled the arena and made people feel like their guts were about to explode. Yi Qinfeng, let us go. Otherwise, I will kill him. Looking into Yi Qinfeng's bloodthirsty eyes, Jian Yuan felt like he was being stared at by the Grim Reaper. His body turned cold, and his right hand that was pressing on Qian Daobai's head started to tremble. Qingfeng, I didn't expect that we would meet again one day. Qian Daobai slowly opened his tired eyes and looked at Yi Qinfeng, who was not far away. He said weakly, Seeing your achievements today, I have the right to brag even in the underworld. Hall Master Qian, don't worry. You will live longer than them. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and suppressed the murderous aura in his heart as he looked at Jian Yuan. Yi Qinfeng, I warn you not to mess around. Otherwise, he will be the first to die. Jian Yuan swallowed hard and suppressed the fear in his heart as he warned loudly. He was afraid that Yi Qinfeng would kill him at all costs. Supreme Elder, Sect Master, let's leave this place first. The Yin-Yang Hall Master, Yu Tiangu, who had been frightened by Yi Qinfeng's strength, helped the severely injured Excellency Fire Spirit up and urged anxiously, "Roar!" Suddenly, a loud dragon roar was heard, and a powerful dragon aura instantly filled the entire sparring field. Under the influence of the dragon aura, everyone present was scared out of their wits. Some of the weaker martial artists were so frightened that their bodies swayed and they fell to the ground unconscious. Buzz! Jian Yuan felt his head tremble when he was attacked by the dragon aura. His mind went blank and his reaction slowed down a little. In the next moment, endless cold air penetrated through the ground and entered his legs. Before he could react, he was frozen into an ice sculpture. Humph! How dare you threaten me with your strength? After controlling the ancient cold mysterious ice to freeze Jian Yuan, Yi Qinfeng took a step forward and appeared beside Jian Yuan at lightning speed. He extended a finger and exploded Jian Yuan's frozen head, ending his life. Sword Puppet, protect Mansion, Master Qian. Kill anyone who goes near him without mercy. Qian Daobai's injuries were too severe, and Yi Qinfeng was afraid that another accident would happen. He summoned the Sword Puppet and ordered him to protect Qian Daobai. Yi Qinfeng, we are willing to respect you as our master. We only ask that you let us go. After witnessing how Yi Qinfeng killed Jian Yuan in an instant, Hu Yan was really scared. He disregarded his dignity and begged for mercy. You have no right to ask me to let you go. Today, the Heavenly Fire Sect will be destroyed. Yi Qinfeng was unmoved as he spoke with killing intent. I will fight it out with you. Even if I die, I will not let him off easily. With both his arms almost crippled, the severely injured Excellency Fire Spirit roared and charged at Yi Qinfeng crazily. He wanted to self-destruct to deal a fatal blow to Yi Qinfeng. You are too naive. With your strength, I can kill you as easily as killing a chicken. As he spoke, a lightning-fast sword Dao pattern shot out of Yi Qinfeng's body. Before Excellency Fire Spirit could self-destruct, his head had already exploded. Following that, Yi Qinfeng continued to attack. He was like the Grim Reaper as he crazily reaped the lives of the Heavenly Fire Sect's experts who had pursued him in the past. In less than half an hour, the Heavenly Fire Sect's battle arena had turned into a purgatory on Earth. Large amounts of blood had gathered into a small stream. The horrifying scene made everyone present feel cold and fearful. From today onwards, the Heavenly Fire Sect will no longer exist in the North Snow County. After killing the higher-ups of the Heavenly Fire Sect, Yi Qinfeng exuded a domineering aura and announced loudly that the third-grade sect, the Heavenly Fire Sect, would no longer exist in the North Snow County. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 348. Miss the sunset glow covered half of the sky like a flame, and the sky gradually darkened. After sleeping for several hours, Qian Daobai, who was severely injured and extremely weak, woke up from his coma. Prefecture Lord Qian, you're awake. How do you feel? Yi Qinfeng, who had just healed and stabilized Qian Daobai's injuries, asked softly when he noticed that Qian Daobai had finally woken up. Qinfeng, where are we? Looking at the unfamiliar surroundings, Qian Daobai forced himself to sit up and asked weakly. We are now in a small town near the Heavenly Fire Sect, Yi Qinfeng said. Qinfeng, what did you do to the Heavenly Fire Sect? Qian Daobai looked at Yi Qinfeng's cold face and thought of the scene where Jian Yuan's head exploded before he fainted. He asked with a complicated tone. The Heavenly Fire Sect has been destroyed. I have also killed Huling and Huyen, Yi Qinfeng said calmly. Annihilated, the Heavenly Fire sect is truly gone. Although Qian Daobai had been implicated by Yi Qinfeng and had been tortured in the Heavenly Fire sect and had almost lost his life, the Heavenly Fire sect was his root and had nurtured him. After learning that Yi Qinfeng had massacred the Heavenly Fire sect and removed the Heavenly Fire sect from the northern Snow County, his heart instantly felt empty. They brought all of this upon themselves. With their inflated ambitions and short-sightedness, even if I don't destroy them, someone will destroy them sooner or later. Yi Qinfeng said indifferently, I know. The Heavenly Fire sect's actions in the past few years have already betrayed their righteousness. However, I grew up in the Heavenly Fire sect and cultivated there. I am not used to the sudden disappearance of the Heavenly Fire sect. Qian Daobai sighed deeply. By the way, Mansion Lord Qian, do you have any news about Senior Sister Fu? Other than Qian Daobai, Yi Qinfeng was also very worried about Fu Youyue's safety and wanted to know about her situation. I don't know. I have been imprisoned in Heavenly Fire sect's prison all these years. I don't know much about the outside world. However, Yu Yu's background is not simple. I think she should be fine. Qian Daobai shook his head and said, Mannerhead, what are your plans from now on? Yi Qinfeng asked softly. I might go back to Zijin Kingdom to live the rest of my life. Qian Daobai thought for a while and said, Returning to Zijin Kingdom is indeed a good choice. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said, Manor Lord, I have a few things for you. As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng took out 5 Earth-level soul pills, a top-quality Earth-level longsword, and the top-quality Earth-level soul skill, Spirit Snake Sword Technique, which he had obtained from killing the Han family's elites. He gave them to Qian Daobai. This is, looking at the treasure that Yi Qinfeng gave him, Qian Daobai's eyes widened in shock as he revealed a look of shock. With just a glance, he was sure that Yi Qinfeng had given him something extraordinary. These 5 pills are Earth-level soul pills. This longsword is a top-quality Earth-level weapon. As for these 2 scrolls, they are a set of top-quality Earth-level soul arts and soul skills. Yi Qinfeng introduced. This. Chengfeng, these things are too precious. I can't accept them. After knowing the grades of these treasures, Qian Daobai's hands trembled as he quickly declined. Back then, in order to obtain an Earth-level soul pill, he was willing to go to a mortal country with thin spiritual energy to become the Martial Mansion Lord. However, Yi Qinfeng had given him 5 Earth-level soul pills. The top-quality Earth-level weapons, top-quality Earth-level soul arts, and soul skills that Yi Qinfeng had given him were even more precious. Even the Heavenly Fire sect didn't have these things. Martial Mansion, Lord Qian, the kindness you gave me back then is far more than these. These treasures are useless to me now. You don't have to be polite. Quickly accept them. Yi Qinfeng forcefully gave these treasures to Qian Daobai. All right, I'll accept these things. Qian Daobai finally accepted Yi Qinfeng's gift and asked, Chengfeng, can you tell me what cultivation realm you are at now? I just broke through to the rank 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor realm not long ago. Yi Qinfeng said frankly, Rank 6 Mystic Beast Ancestor. Qian Daobai knew that Yi Qinfeng was very strong. He was so strong that he could destroy the Heavenly Fire sect alone. However, he was still stunned after knowing his true strength. The night grew darker and darker. During this night, Yi Qinfeng and Qian Daobai chatted for a long time. From the conversation, Qian Daobai deeply felt how strong Yi Qinfeng's cultivation heart was. He also understood why Yi Qinfeng could achieve what he had today. Opportunity was only one aspect. If one didn't have great courage, great wisdom, great spirit, and an incomparably firm cultivation heart, they wouldn't be able to obtain the opportunity, even if it was right in front of them. On the morning of the second day, Qian Daobai, who had partially recovered from his injuries, bid farewell to Yi Qinfeng and headed to the kingdom of Zijin by himself. He was prepared to spend the rest of his life there. After Qian Daobai left, Yi Qinfeng didn't follow him. Instead, he controlled the black netherworld extreme fire to fuse with the fire heart spirit flame, increasing its power and waiting for someone. The fire heart spirit flame's power was extremely terrifying. When the black netherworld extreme fire tried to devour it, it immediately resisted fiercely. Waves of scorching energy leaked out, burning the restrictions that Yi Qinfeng had placed in the room and distorting them. Primal chaos divine would suppress. As the fire heart spirit flame fiercely resisted, Yi Qinfeng immediately borrowed the power of the primal chaos divine would to suppress it. Soon, the restless fire heart spirit flame calmed down and was devoured by the black netherworld extreme fire. After fusing with the fire heart spirit flame, the black netherworld extreme fire should be able to transform into a heaven flame. Yi Qinfeng muttered to himself. He patiently controlled the black netherworld extreme fire to fuse with the fire heart spirit flame. Once the black netherworld extreme fire transformed into a heaven flame, the power of his wrath of God's punishment would be even more terrifying. Even a rank 2 reverse beast king would die on the spot. Just as Yi Qinfeng borrowed the power of the primal chaos divine would to fuse the two spirit flames, the news of Yi Qinfeng wiping out the heavenly fire sect by himself exploded in the North Snow region. Yi Qinfeng also became the most famous person in the North Snow region. Some people even called him the #1 genius in the North Snow region in 10,000 years. 300 miles northwest of the heavenly fire sect, in a small town surrounded by mountains. Qinfeng, you finally returned safely. A woman in a tight black martial arts suit, with a curvaceous figure and an extremely perfect appearance, exuding a frosty temperament from head to toe, took a sip of the bamboo leaf tea and a charming smile appeared on her delicate lips. This woman, who looked like a dark elf, was Fu Yuiwei, whom Yi Qinfeng had been thinking about. After finishing the bamboo leaf tea in the cup, Fu Yuiwei left behind a few low-grade soul crystals. She got up and left under the infatuated gazes of many pairs of eyes. She quickly went to the heavenly fire sect to look for Yi Qinfeng. She wanted to meet him. After Master Fire Spirit and the others were killed, the heavenly fire sect fell apart. The disciples of the sect, who were lucky enough to survive, fled the heavenly fire sect. In less than a day, the once prosperous heavenly fire sect was empty. The famous holy land of cultivation in the North Snow region was now a ruin. Many places were burned to ashes by the fire. Fu Yuiwei rode a black bird and came to the heavenly fire sect. She immediately looked for Yi Qinfeng, but after searching the entire heavenly fire sect, she did not find a single disciple of the heavenly fire sect, nor did she get any news about Yi Qinfeng. She could not help but feel disappointed. Could it be that I missed it? Qinfeng left after destroying the heavenly fire sect. Fu Yuiwei shook her head and sighed softly. She said in her heart, "Qinfeng, since you are safe and sound, I can rest assured and leave. But I may not come to the North Snow region in the future. I hope you are all right." After saying that, Fu Yuiwei regretfully did not stay any longer and left the ruins of the heavenly fire sect. Mobile reading website. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 349. A treasure map for sale. Just as Fu Yuiwei was about to leave, her heart suddenly trembled. A kind of shock and excitement appeared on her beautiful face, and in the end it filled her entire face. From afar, she saw a domineering man in a white martial arts suit. He had a natural temperament, a chiseled face, and a gentle look in his bright eyes. He was walking towards her. "Qinfeng." Fu Yue could not help but rub her eyes to make sure that she was not seeing things. The person walking towards her slowly was Yi Chunfeng, the person she was looking for. Senior Sister Fu, long time no see. Looking at Fu Yue's familiar face, Yi Chunfeng smiled and said softly, "Chunfeng, did you not leave? Or did you know that I would come?" Fu Yue asked in surprise, "I felt that you might come to the Heavenly Fire Sect, so before I left I came to take a look. I didn't expect to meet you. It seems that my luck is not bad." Yi Chunfeng smiled faintly and said softly, "So that's how it is." Fu Yue's cold and elegant face suddenly bloomed with a charming smile like a flower. She said, "Chunfeng, I didn't expect that after not seeing you for 4 years, you could destroy the Heavenly Fire Sect by yourself. I'm really curious, what is your cultivation level now? Can you tell me? I just broke through to the 6th level of the Black Beast Grandmaster realm not long ago." Yi Chunfeng said honestly, "From the 2nd level of the Heavenly Beast Immortal realm to the 6th level of the Black Beast Grandmaster realm in 4 years. Chunfeng, your cultivation talent is really frightening. I think Huiyan and the rest will regret their decision back then when they know your true strength." After knowing Yi Chunfeng's true strength, Fu Yue's smile grew wider. It was as if 100 flowers had bloomed. It was stunning. "Maybe," Yi Chunfeng said with a smile. "Senior Sister Fu, I have a gift for you." With that, Yi Chunfeng took out a white jade porcelain bottle from his heaven and earth ring and handed it to Fu Yue. "Such a strong medicinal fragrance. This is an earth rank spirit pill." Fu Yue's eyes lit up when she felt the medicinal power of the 5 pills in the porcelain bottle. She asked in surprise. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, "Yes, here are 5 earth-grade soul elixirs of the highest grade. They should be enough for you to advance to the level 6 Heavenly Beast Immortal Realm." "Thank you. I won't stand on ceremony with you." Fu Yue thanked him softly. After a few years of cultivation, Fu Yue's strength had increased rapidly. She had broken through from a 5th rank Earth Beast General to a 3rd rank Heavenly Beast Immortal. However, after learning about Yi Chunfeng's current strength, the prideful Fu Yue still felt a sense of defeat. She desperately wanted to become more powerful. "By the way, Chunfeng, what are your plans for the future?" Fu Yue asked softly as she placed the 5 earth rank spirit pills into her Qinkuan pouch. "I'm preparing to go to the northern spiritual regions, Misty Sky City, to look for someone." Yi Chunfeng said, "Misty Heaven City." Fu Yue raised her eyebrows slightly. A smile appeared on her cold face. She invited, "I'm also going to the North Sea State to look for someone. Since it's on the way, why don't we travel together?" "Sure," Yi Chunfeng said with a smile. "Then let's go." As she spoke, Fu Yue took out a green leaf and placed it on her alluring lips. She blew out a sound that penetrated through the air. Screech! A sharp screech sounded in the sky. A huge bird with a wingspan of more than 10 meters and a long phoenix tail flew over when it heard the sound of Fu Yue blowing the green leaf. Level 1 Heavenly Beast, Phoenix-tailed Dove. It seems that Senior Sister Fu's identity is not simple. Otherwise, it would be impossible for her to tame a heavenly beast that can travel thousands of miles in a day and is comparable to a level 1 Heavenly Beast Master. Yi Chunfeng thought in his heart. However, as a smart person, Yi Chunfeng did not take the initiative to ask about her identity. After all, everyone had their own secrets. "Let's go, Chunfeng." The two of them jumped into the air and landed on the wide and soft back of the phoenix-tailed dove. They flew away from the North Snow State and headed to the even more vast North Sea State. Dark Abyss Fire, Fire Spirit Flame, Fuse. On the way to the North Sea State, Yi Chunfeng and Fu Yue did not waste any time. They sat on the back of the phoenix-tailed dove and cultivated. After cultivating for about 3 days, the Dark Abyss Fire and Fire Spirit Flame finally fused perfectly in the chaos divine wood. They successfully transformed into a rare, heavenly fire that had the power to burn the heavens and the earth. The dark heavenly fire. The moment the dark heavenly fire was formed, the chaos divine would also successfully nurture 3 strands of chaos energy. The spirit flame has finally transformed into a heavenly fire. I wonder if the dark heavenly fire alone can burn a level 1 defiant beast king to death. Feeling that the dark heavenly fire was more than 10 times stronger than the dark abyss fire, Yi Qin-feng showed a satisfied smile. He could not wait to find a legendary king to test the power of the dark heavenly fire. Screech! The moment the dark heavenly fire was formed, a terrifying heat was released from Yi Qin-feng's body. The phoenix-tailed dove screamed in fear and disturbed Fu Yuiwei, who had consumed an earth-rank spirit pill and was trying to break through to the level for Heavenly Beast Immortal Realm. Qingfeng, what kind of spirit art are you cultivating? Why is the aura it emits so domineering? Fu Yuiwei asked in surprise when she felt the heat wave from Yi Qinfeng's body. No, I just refined the fire spirit flame. The energy is emitted by the fire spirit flame. The fusion of the spirit flame was shocking. Yi Qinfeng did not tell Fu Yuiwei the truth to avoid exposing the existence of the chaos divine wood. Qingfeng, you refined the fire spirit flame. I'm afraid you have the ability to fight a level 1 defiant beast king. Fu Yuiwei's eyes shone as she said enviously, even if I didn't refine the fire spirit flame, I can kill legendary kings like killing chickens. Yi Qinfeng said with a smile. Bullsh *T, who would believe you? Fu Yuiwei rolled her eyes at Yi Qinfeng. She didn't believe him at all. She closed her eyes and continued to refine the earth rank spirit pill to break through. In the evening, the phoenix-tailed dove that had been flying for 3 days and 3 nights landed in the sky above a huge city called Cloud Peak City. Looking from afar, Cloud Peak City was surrounded by a mountain range that went deep into the clouds like a huge dragon. Qingfeng, let's rest in Cloud Peak City for the night. We'll continue our journey tomorrow. Fu Yuiwei, who was on the verge of breaking through, suggested. She wanted to cultivate in peace for the night. The phoenix-tailed dove flapped its huge wings and landed in the forest at the edge of Cloud Peak City. Yi Qinfeng and Fu Yuiwei jumped off the back of the phoenix-tailed dove and walked into the bustling Cloud Peak City, shrouded in darkness. Just as Yi Qinfeng and Fu Yuiwei walked into the Cloud Peak City, which was filled with vicissitudes of life, Yi Qinfeng and Fu Yuiwei heard a loud shout. Treasure map, the most mysterious treasure map in the North Sea state, has appeared. It only costs 1,000 low-grade soul crystals. Don't miss this opportunity. Friends passing by, don't miss it. You'll regret it for the rest of your life. A man in a cyan robe with a somewhat cautious expression yelled with all his might. What's wrong, Qingfeng? You can't be interested in that treasure map, right? Fu Yuiwei looked at Yi Qinfeng, who suddenly stopped and looked over. She pursed her lips and teased him in a good mood. Senior sister Fu, you're right. I am indeed interested in that treasure map. Yi Qinfeng replied with a smile. Come, let's go and take a look. Ah, do you really believe that the treasure map is real? Fu Yuiwei looked at Yi Qinfeng strangely and asked in confusion. She couldn't figure out what was wrong with Yi Qinfeng. It's possible. Yi Qinfeng smiled mysteriously. He looked at the man in the green robe who was shouting with all his might and walked over. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading record. You'll see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.